Okay, since we're live, uh, it's Manosphere 3.0. This stuff I probably should have got out of the way a long time ago. But let me see. I don't see it showing up on YouTube. Uh, Hold on. Don't see it showing up. Oh, there it is. All right. There I am. Very good. So while we're waiting for Explore Your Options to show up, since he was just in the chat, Solus, what's going on? Let me go back to the go back to this real quick. Some of these subs are children. David Black, what's going on? See if Explore Your Options is going to show up or not. But in the meantime, I will take questions. I don't know what the point of what the contention about Manosphere 3.0 is about, because I was real clear in my in what I said. And I wasn't blaming them for being doxxed or anything like that. I was just saying that they wasn't acting like they had been through this before. And a lot of people think that because you're a subscriber and you're in the chat, that's the same thing as being a content creator, and it's not. It's a different, being on the other side of that mic is a whole different story. Okay. A lot of stuff that you got to put up with. Best source to get news? There is no best source to get news. What I say is, as far as getting news, I would say pick 10 sources that you trust. Hopefully, half of them conservative, half of them liberal. You want also you want like a couple of conservative sources that are in the United States, a couple of conservative sources that are in Europe, and then you picked a couple of conservative liberal sources in the United States, a couple of liberal sources in Europe, and then the rest you want to sprinkle of Middle East, Chinese, and one other. Could be African, could be Latin American, whatever. You put that in Twitter, and that becomes your aggregate. And then the rest, you basically, you can actually put in a subject and put Google alerts in. There's lots of ways you can do it. You can Apple has a news aggregator if you pick a subject. Google has a news aggregator if you pick a subject. But they mostly work as apps. So there's a lot of ways you can actually do news. C-SPAN is a good source, but C-SPAN deals with American politics, and they're going to be limited. What's going on, Leah Dandles? It doesn't matter, man. I don't even care what black women say. They even if you built, they were not going to submit because they're not socialized to, so it doesn't mean anything. Will it be a good profit? There's some. Well, it's always tech is always the best field right now. It is what it is. If you're going to transition, because this is not going to last forever. Actually, it's not changing the dynamic of man-women relationships. It's really not. It's not changing. It's actually setting it back to the way it was. It's really not changing anything. The relationship is still a relationship. Now, it'll change the behavior within this dynamic, but it's not changing the dynamic at all. What's up, Archer? St. Paula boy, what's going on? Yeah, just trying to uh, clear up. A lot of people want to go back and forth in the chat. How was Game Changer not part game? It would evidently you guys are rocking the same field, so I'm assuming you're 3.0 because they rock with you guys. Now you guys haven't identified who Manosphere 3.0 is, okay? And they rock with you guys, so that's how it is. So basically, they're after you. They're on the way up, huh? Well, I don't know. You guys all cluster together. You guys all cluster together. You guys are making the same mistakes that 1.0 and 2.0 has already done. You guys don't see that you're walking into it. So if he's not 3.0, you should basically identify it because you guys all run together. Oh, because 3.0 have they lay out their precepts, but the thing is, just because you lay out our precepts doesn't mean anything till you actually start building the building. You might have a design, but that doesn't mean anything. And basically, movements like this, you can name them whatever you want, but things they have to coalesce. I've seen this with MRAs. I've seen this with the red pill sector, the PUAs, and I've also seen this with MGTOW, which is where I came from, as Black Gnostic Speaks. You coalesce, and a lot of people will come on claiming the title, but the thing is, they're going to start defining the movement, and you haven't defined the movement yet, which is why we have all this stuff, all this confusion. So now you're going to say that Game Changer you guys been rocking with, and a few others that you guys been rocking with, are not part of Manosphere 3.0. No, actually, that was. It's time we talk about the B1. Which one? Which B1? Are you talking about the B1, the people that call themselves the B1s, or you could, because the Black First, Professor Black Truth and Jason Black don't really call themselves B1. They don't name themselves B1. Now we have Taz and Nyla that call themselves B1. So which one are you talking about? You can come up in a minute, but I clearly have a person's name in it. I'm waiting on him first, and then you can clear it up. I'm gonna see if he shows up. If he doesn't show up, you're welcome to clear it up because I've been following you. Got to remember, man, I've been here. I follow all you guys. Okay, and you guys have to clear this shit up because it's not our job to clear it up because the people that are SYSBM and all this kind of stuff that are basically even though I'm IPMOR and there's people at SYSBM and there's people that EBM and there's people that are MGTOW and there's people that are pro blacks and all that kind of stuff. They make up the Black Manosphere, okay? And it's an aggregate. You just can't say this group is Black Manosphere because you're not. You can't be just a few people and be a Manosphere 3.0. You need a collection of people that actually come around you. Okay, the Manosphere defines itself. You guys can't define it. They can't take over the whole Manosphere. You guys chill the fuck out. All right, chill the fuck out. When I'm ready to call you guys up, then you can actually come up and argue. But basically, chill the fuck out. Explore your options. Where you at, man? Hey, Gab, what's up? Explore your options. Where, yeah, we're gonna give them about 15 minutes, and then you guys can actually talk about it. Because I said what I said. It doesn't matter because you guys still made mistakes. I'll see what I've been talking about what you guys were doing. In fact, I stepped in trying to keep you guys from following down the same path, but you did it anyway. Because this ain't the first time I've addressed you guys about following down the same goddamn path, man. I've been doing that for a year. But you guys are hard headed. You guys have to fall on your ass and learn it the hard way. Just because you name it doesn't mean it, because guess where they still are? They're still in Manosphere 2.0. Okay. The females have always donated more money to Jason Black. Jason Black is basically pro-black and conscious. Okay, depending on how you want to look at it. Because I remember me and Jason Black used to go back and forth in Facebook in 2013. So, I used to be what is it? Follow Jason Black on Facebook before I even started creating content. Um, well, because Jason Black doesn't stay in his lane. He wants to go back. He wants to go back and forth with the men's movement over here without being factual. I have no problem with Jason Black if he's telling the truth, but his opinions are false. But I basically, you know what I said. For is in conscious community, we have this rule: if the person's really not doing a whole lot of damage and no whole lot of harm, then if they had to disagree with the way you see things, you just let them be. So basically, with whereas Jason Black, some of the stuff I agree with, I use. The stuff that I don't agree with, basically, I kind of ignore. So that's why I've never made a video on him or had a public disagreement with him. Some melatonin. Well, I slept, man. I didn't. I slept for about 6 hours, and I got up to watch Artisan's stream. So I'll give explore your options a few more minutes, and then we'll talk about Manosphere 3.0 because you guys are walking down the same path. In fact, you guys are walking on the path that you guys said you wasn't gonna walk down. But the thing is that you said you weren't gonna dip down into this, and guess what you guys did? You dipped down into it anyway. You guys walking on the same path. Hey, Marvin Evans, what's going on? You know what, man? I basically, unless Jason Black says something to me personally or calls me out personally or directs something that I said personally, I leave him alone. You know, we had a chat about gentrification. He turned it into a movie. So the stuff that we agree upon, we agree upon. The stuff we don't, we don't. But that's their side of. As I mean, I didn't look at it, and King Sigma just got here, man. King Sigmas ain't got here. Like Kevin was saying earlier, a lot of these guys haven't paid, haven't paid their dues yet. They just got here, and basically, a lot of Manosphere 3.0 is built on the back of 2.0. Okay, they didn't build their movement from scratch. Like Kevin said, y'all didn't build this shit from scratch. Basically, you guys built your platform on top of ours. Because a lot of guys, even Obsidian, man, Obsidian started out doing blogs before he got here. I started out basically not on social media, but on internet radio well before I got here, right? And I started in the MGTOW segment before I even got over here. I had 500 subscribers on my MGTOW channel before I even transferred over here. Same thing with Angry Man. Angry Man was doing blog talk before he got on YouTube. So basically, we built all our shit from scratch. We didn't do it on Hangouts. We didn't get our name out through all kind of stuff. We had to basically build this shit from scratch. And Kevin was actually right. So I'm not shitting on Manosphere 3.0 or whatever they want to call it. But the thing is, that, a lot of stuff that they said they wouldn't do, they're right dead in the middle of it. No, and basically the 3.0 came from and Manosphere 2.0. Like some were the Obsidian followers, some were mine. I think some might have been O'Shea's, and maybe even some that were Angry Man. But the thing is, they call it because we all share an audience. And so they saw a niche or a direction they wanted to go and they took it, okay? Which I have no problems with. And a lot of the dudes I supported. Black Brain Trust is one of them. Black Brain Trust basically is an offshoot from my live streams. Hey, MGTOW Universe. Yeah, MGTOW Universe, remember when I was making my bones on with my Black Gnostic Speaks channel. That was a long time ago. That was like damn near 6 years ago. No, good for them. They should. And they should, if they disassociate themselves from the Black Manosphere, then they shouldn't be on anybody's platform. They should keep themselves separated and go do their thing. Because they still show up on people's platforms and be interviewed by people over here. If they don't want to be like, you don't see, like Donovan Sharp's here every now and then. He disassociates himself. He does his own thing. Coach Greg Adams, he don't come over here. There's a whole bunch of people that don't come over here. Okay, they don't even come on this side. If you're not associated with it, basically, good on you, man. Nobody made you come. Nobody's gonna make you stay. So why see Boogie starting beefs in the Manosphere if he disassociate himself? He should go do his thing. No, they should take them. If you're gone, you're gone. Okay. If you're gone, you're gone. I just, I accept that. I'm part of it. I'm part of it more, which is part of the Black Manosphere, and I do my thing. And you get drug into this shit. Well, that's him. That is him. Give it about a few more minutes. Explore your options. Where you at, man? I know he ain't gonna show up. So basically, if he don't show up, basically I'm gonna block him. So if he don't show up, I'm gonna block him. Why did Aaron Fountain scare that man? But Aaron Fountain is a nobody. Aaron Fountain is. I've been trying to tell guys that from the very beginning. He's a nobody. And you guys going treat. Well, the thing is, Obsidian jumped in because Obsidian thinks that Aaron Fountain's gonna bring him clout. He's a nobody. Y'all chill out on that shit, man. Tonight's not the night for that. Y'all need to be decent tonight, all right? Because I don't want to declare martial law in here, man. Have people start sniping you, okay? So let C Boogie and all them folks, man, do their thing. I was saying that from the beginning. Should have ignored him. Should have been ignored, man, because he's full of shit. I said that from the beginning. Hey, Ash, how's the baby? There's my girl. What's up, Ash? How's the baby? How's Trigger? Yeah, it shouldn't be no ego wars, man. It's like I said, beefing is not gonna get you anywhere, man. It actually basically takes you off track, especially nowadays. Albert, what up, man? Aaron. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He, you know, he's here for a reason. He's here for actually build popularity off of you because I talked to like a couple of professors. They were telling me that um, it's hard to even get published or even get known even if you are a professor someplace. Hard to get known. So Aaron Fountain's not even a PhD. It's taking like 6 or 7 years to get his PhD. He's not even known. All you guys doing is making him known. Because if it all you guys is making him popular. So that's why I tell you. That's why I said just ignore him, man. People keep sending me shit about Aaron Fountain. Just ignore his ass. If you ignore his ass, he's a grad student. That's all he is. He has one or two publications, and if you ignore him, then he had one publication that was read maybe a couple hundred times. That's it. He's getting more press from his name is more known by you guys by spreading his fucking name. Now, he is a nobody. He's a broke nobody because he's in grad school. But there's a link. C Boogie, get the fuck out of here, man. Leave, C Boogie. Get out of here, man. Mike V, if you and get the fuck out of here, C Boogie. We ain't even talking about you. We ain't even talking to you, man. Get out of here. Because I'm disappointed. Sorely disappointed. All right, man. And tomorrow, Mike V, you want to come up? Come up, man. I'm gonna hold a spot for you. If not, I'm gonna give it to somebody else. All right, man. And tomorrow, you got to mute yourself, man. And tomorrow, man. And tomorrow, mute yourself. Mute your background.
I did. Sorry.
Mike V, you want to come up? Come up, man. Again, we still getting echo? You on a speakerphone or something?
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me still? Or no?
I can hear you, but I'm saying is I just hear feedback.
Wait, hold on a second. How about now?
That's better.
All right. I had TV on in the background.
Okay.
I'm a little close to it. You know I'm on the road, so.
Okay. So you're up. I'm still waiting to explore your options.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? So what you and Explore Your Options was going to discuss?
He basically, this is probably the last month I'm probably going to do it. If somebody's going to go back and forth like 3 or 4 times in my comment section, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to block them or not, then I said I'll give them a chance to actually get whatever is off their chest, which Kevin says I probably shouldn't do. So this is probably the last month I'm actually going to do it. So, you give you a couple comments, you still want to go back and say, hey, look, dude, we ain't gonna do this in the comment section. So you need to just chill. And if not, I'm gonna send you off to the cornfield. But I usually do this if someone needs to get something off their chest. But I'm getting old.
Yeah.
If you have to, if you have to, if you're all in here, if you guys are in here asking what somebody did, then this is not the stream for you. Okay.
Nah,
If
sure is.
if you're not, we're not gonna run down the last a couple of months of what's going on in the background so you can catch up. So if you're here for drama, this is not the stream for you because I have no patience for it today. But you guys want to explain something? I mean, you evidently somebody has issues about what I said. I really wasn't down on what you guys do. I'm saying is I think you guys were making some mistakes, and I think you guys are gonna tighten up after this. That's all I was saying. I wasn't down on you guys.
Okay. Well, let's go over the history of what was in your video.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here's the thing. Full disclosure, I knew about this shit a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
The interaction. Now, where Game Changer went wrong is that he started fucking with women, actual literally, on from YouTube.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I because without that, none of the shit would happen.
Yeah. I
So for
agree.
me and me personally, I think that online women are the worst women on the fucking planet to start any type of relationship
What
with.
the thing is, basically, you ever heard the term "you can't shit where you eat"?
Correct.
Yeah, that's all it is. I said that many, many, many times. In fact, I was just giving that advice to a couple of people in the background who asked me about it. I said, if you're gonna do this, you got to be really, really careful. And I said, I have a standing policy. And Mike can tell you, because Mike's been around with since damn near day one. I have a standing policy. I don't even flirt with the women on that are my subs or in my chat. I have a
Not at
standing
all. I
policy.
mean, in fact, if anybody send me a message on Facebook and I don't fucking know you, I block your ass immediately.
I don't
That's
block.
how.
I don't block
No,
people.
no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about nudes and all types of shit
Oh
that
no,
you
no,
send
no.
me online.
Basically,
Yeah, no,
I don't.
fuck that.
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
even.
nah.
Mike can tell you. I've been consistent. I don't even open myself up like that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Uh huh.
Uh, the guy in the chat who showed up, who shouldn't be here, also know as much as information that I did, right?
Okay.
Because we all kind of used to be cool like that back in the day, probably like a year
Hmm.
ago. So with him going along with this shit, as far
Yeah.
as he did go along with it,
Yeah.
he knew it was some fucking bullshit from the first beginning.
Yeah.
But that's why I jumped out front. So to let people know, because I've investigated these type of things too. So I
Hmm.
know what a real claim is versus what a fake claim is. Because everybody is talking except for the person who was involved. And that's really a really bad sign
Hmm.
when everybody else is talking on this person who this was, because nothing happened. So when people are trying to make it seem like, oh, they don't know or they
Hmm.
don't understand what happened, there's
Hmm.
no way you can say this type of shit when nothing happened. Anything
Hmm.
else, you're just trying to drum up reasonable doubt
That's
when
true.
there's no reasonable doubt there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just that, we talked about it behind the scenes,
Hmm.
as you would probably imagine.
Hmm.
But Game Changers channel is not a 3.0 channel. Game
Okay.
Changers channel is kind of like a BGS for women ish type channel. That's what that's what he does. He talk about things on this channel and he try to get women to see the errors of their ways and change their actions.
Uh huh.
That's what this dude's channel actually is. This is why he had women on his channel,
Hmm.
especially those who play like they were quote unquote feminine and shit. So I roll with the guy because while I'm beyond this scope, I can
Hmm.
keep my scope when I come on this channel and talk about the things that he talk about without letting my personal what I actually feel about these people come out when I'm there. Because I do want these people to change, even though I'm not gonna fuck with them, right?
Hmm. Yeah. But the thing is, he says he rolls with you guys, man.
No, he
And and,
does,
and
but
basically,
but
but
he's not 3.0.
and what the thing
He's
is,
not 3.0.
he didn't declare it, but he rolls with you guys, man.
No, that's
Yeah, but
that's a little bit of a stretch, our brother.
yeah, yeah.
Because
I mean, that's kind of like guilt by association, but
Yeah,
yeah,
all right.
exactly. Okay.
but the thing is, the reason why we kind of put this whole 3.0 thing together was to try to establish some baseline principles of how to run panels, not
Mm,
and how to run the channel as well.
mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of people that were kind of, like trying to associate other people with 3.0. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wait a second. This is how we kind of run our panel.
Mm,
And a lot of people were pushing back last year saying, nah, we ain't gonna run our panel like that. We're gonna do whatever we want. And then when the Dragnet came out, they was like, oh, we got the Black
mm,
Great Trust, they do good things. But nobody wanted to replicate our model. Okay. And so that's why we kind of stayed away from a lot of things. We actually haven't commented on anything that's been going on. We
mm,
stayed way far away from all that stuff. So that's the only reason I'm coming up here to kind of put some clarification and kind of elaborate on what MOT is saying that certain people get affiliated with 3.0
Mm-hmm.
just because
Mm-hmm.
they're with us or because we converse with them, but that's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm. And basically, I was on I think the Black Brain Trust, and it was him. It was what's his name? Uh,
Mhm.
uh, it was
I know.
Lionel wasn't on it, but it was
Complex.
Complex.
I will.
It was what's his name?
Grizzly.
Mr. Research and a couple others, right? And you guys are all jumping on me saying that I wasn't, wasn't genuine, blah blah blah, and this we doing things different. This is Manosphere 3.0, so I all associate you guys all together because you guys all ran together. You all seemed to form up together, especially when I was in there. So like I was Manosphere 2.0. In fact, there was a couple people like Lowcast was talking about Manosphere 3.0. Now do you guys identify who is and who isn't?
No, no,
Okay.
no. So so it's a
No, we
based on
don't.
the principles that we kind of stick to, and
Mm-hmm.
that other people can actually replicate in order to clean up their environments.
Mm-hmm.
So what's been going on the last 72 hours or whatever it's been
Like two
is
weeks.
right, but it's been a byproduct of kind of letting channels go run loose like that, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's not
yeah,
really what we like to do. We
yeah.
kind of stick to the script.
Yeah, in fact, when if Manosphere 2.0 and
Mhm.
we get sort of like rogue channels basically that want to associate, man, we come in, we try to check those people because they're associating themselves with us.
That's the thing. How do we enforce things like that, right? We
We
can't go in there and shut them
exactly. So
down.
now you see the difficulty that I was talking about.
Right, right.
Well, that's why I was saying about Manosphere 3.0 is where now this is where you get tested. And basically, this is what happened with Game Changers shot across the bow. That's what I said. And this is why I said now you guys are gonna start tightening up on shit. Whereas
Mhm.
before you just kind of like live and let live and it ain't that big a deal and blah blah blah. You guys are gonna start tightening up now. Because
Well,
because the splashback is gonna splash on you.
Yeah,
That's what I was
the
yeah,
that's
but
all I,
BGS.
that's all I was saying. I wasn't saying I was saying you guys got to go through the same bones and the same hard knocks that everybody else does. It
Yeah,
is what
but
it is.
BGS. But what happened
Mhm.
with the game changer situation is that shit happened not on a live stream. There's a lot of shit that happened offline that
Hmm.
actually came online.
Yeah,
So it didn't
exactly.
really actually matter how he ran his channel. Nothing could stop him from people who he's messing with in his
Hmm.
personal life. Me and him had a mutual friend at that point. Nothing could have stopped what happened except for the people who were involved. And
You
I'm
know
glad that they came up and they cleared things up. Otherwise, we would have been on this wild goose chase of random shit forever.
what I'm saying is that we're still with there. I just got an email. I'm still dealing with shit that went on in the back chat of Master 3.2.0 that goes back 3 years. Okay, 2 months is nothing. Okay. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying, these are going to be hard lessons to learn because I was just saying before, there's a big difference between being, and Mike can tell you he was in the background for a long time.
Mhm.
Big difference between being a sub and being a background than being a content creator. It's a whole different thing being on the other side of the mic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, you put emphasis behind it that the Black Brain Trust kind of spun off from
Yeah.
BGS's Saturday live streams. We
Mhm.
kind of wanted some structure
Yeah.
in our dialogue.
Yeah. Because my live streams, and I've said that from the very beginning, is not built to be structured.
Right,
Yeah, but
and
full
we tried
disclosure,
that.
like
Mhm.
full disclosure, where I came from was Angry Man's channel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was a person who used to call into a show and
Mhm.
Mr. Jap show, and then I just decided to do my own fucking thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Obsidian show, I went on more than a couple times, and yours, a couple of the,
Yeah.
overnights that I've been on. So that's where I come from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why that's my actual thing here. So I can't turn around and just say that I'm not Manosphere because if it wasn't for the actual space, the 1.0, 2.0,
Mhm.
Mhm.
like I'm just a guy who cares about black male outcomes.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't a space because all
Mhm.
of black male outcomes were centered around pleasing women and stupid shit like that and getting to know them on their level. And I didn't really think that that was a good idea because no one else is doing that for their women. Like their women are either with you already, there is nothing to work through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It-
we
There is
find that.
nothing to work
well,
towards. Yeah.
explore your options. You're late because, brother, I've been on for like 35 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay. I've been on for
Uh,
like 30. I've been on 35 minutes. I'm gonna let these brothers get 5 more minutes in. Then I will bring you up and deal with your daddy issues. Okay. But go ahead, you guys. You got about 5 more. I'll bring you guys back up after I finish with him. But
okay.
you
All
got
right.
5 more minutes if you got to kind of complete your thought.
But we no,
Yeah.
yeah, to just kind of go ahead, MOT. Finish. I'll come behind you.
No, it's just at the end of the day, 3.0 is pretty much how you run your panel and the
Okay.
behavior.
Okay.
That's it. There
Yeah.
isn't like a actual separate part of it. It's just how you run your shit. The
Okay.
reason why I jumped out front for Game Changers because I already knew the story from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we needed the other person to verify it. And then like,
Yeah.
things kind of go wild.
Because
And then like everybody else is doing all this other stuff. And I'm
yeah,
like, come
because
on, man.
Art of Vidmore actually reached out to the person involved and had her come in and actually clear it up. He actually reached out to her.
Yeah. But there were several people, Super Slash 75, after the explanation because he got the same email everybody else did. So did Reg the bad guy.
Yeah.
Somehow tried to make it seem like there was still
Yeah,
some
I've
so
been telling
reasonable
you
doubt.
I've been telling y'all to cut that dude off, man, for months. Okay, for months. Because
Yeah.
those kind of dudes like, that kind of, those kind of bottom feeders will actually, drag the whole sector down. But I'm glad that this actually happened, and it's actually cleared things up because now we know who the bottom feeders are. Now, if you associate with them, that's on you.
Yeah.
So now, like I said, I wasn't downing Manosphere 3.0, whatever, however you guys affiliate yourself, because really have no idea how you guys affiliate yourself, because you have a lot of guys claiming it that may or may not be. Because I have no way of knowing, because I'm not in the background. I don't do back chats. I don't do the email, so I have no clue. You know, so basically,
Yeah.
when they say, when you guys present yourselves as the new Manosphere, because there's a whole bunch of people for the last year that saying we're the new Manosphere, this is 3.0, this is how we do things, blah blah blah. So I have no clue who is and who isn't, and he was one of them that
Yeah.
declared Manosphere 3.0. So, and you guys say that he's not. Okay, well, okay, he
No, I
says he
mean,
is, yeah, but you guys say he's not, and we don't know.
no,
That's
I
how
mean,
we
he
went
doesn't
after
have
him.
the 3.0 mandate on this channel because he's still trying to
Okay.
get women to see the light. Like that isn't a 3.0 directive. Our directive is we already got our shit together. We're not even caring about these women. We're moving forward without them.
Okay.
That's where we're at. So
Okay. Well, what you need,
okay.
you need to have you need to have a long sit down with the brother, and make, actually have him declare one way or the other, because, personally, I didn't heard about it late, and I said, if of all the people that I would never think that would do anything and still don't believe it, is Game Changer, because he ain't that kind of guy. I've never Game Changer might be goofy. He's a stereotypical educated lane, but I think, as far as I'm concerned, he's harmless. So
Yeah.
why would they go? I couldn't even understand why they would even go after Game Changer. It didn't make any sense to me. It still doesn't.
Well, I mean, you have to understand the strategy here
Yeah,
of why they went after him.
yeah.
I mean,
They,
they
they,
wanted to label the entire manosphere a
it,
whole bunch of game changers.
well, basically, it's really SYSBM, and basically the new group of Manosphere.
Yeah.
Really, that's really what it is. It's not really 2.0s. It's really the whatchamacallit, the new group, the SYSBM, the new group of what you call Manosphere 3.0. They're after you guys. They weren't after me and Angry Man and that kind of stuff. They're after you guys.
No, I mean, because what they wanted to do is they wanted to use the information from two people who was close to him
Mm-hmm.
linked with all this other iffy stuff, and they tried to make it into something, but they never expected people to come to the dude's defense, and they never expected me to come out front and be like, "Fuck this," because I knew that that person had to be involved,
Yeah.
because that type of person goes around telling everybody's personal business as it
Mm-hmm.
come out,
Mm-hmm.
and how this person shows up and act like ain't nothing wrong, or he don't know what the fuck going on. No, like that type of bullshit. Even with all the shit that has happened up to now,
Yeah.
still showing up places trying to play like he don't know what the fuck's going on. It's
Mm.
just fucking
Yeah.
asinine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's too late for that. That's why when
yeah,
he popped up, I said, "Man, get out of here. Why are you
yeah,
even
for
here?"
real.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
all
we're not
right,
even
man.
playing
So
the game.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but any I'll bring you guys back up if you guys want to come back up later. But the thing is, you've got anything to say before I actually bring up explore your options?
No, sir. No,
All
sir.
right.
That's
All
it.
right. All right. All right.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Did you you got everything out that you wanted to say? Well, what I'm saying, it
Yeah,
wasn't really
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
it really wasn't. If you heard it, it
No,
really it really
I did
wasn't.
listen to it.
Yeah.
It was a reclarification based on the actual history of what went on, because I don't think people know the actual history that led up to your actual video. So that's the thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
it really, really wasn't meant to actually. It was just a commentary. It really wasn't actually there to actually talk about the history and what went on and stuff like that. Because if people in the know that already know this stuff have already heard it from various different people. Because we did a stream on it. Was it a Saturday, and Valdez has done like two. Kendra's done like two or three. So people that are in the loop
yeah,
already know. So, but the people
yeah,
that don't, it was never meant to actually clear, actually go through the history. Didn't want to do like an hour video about what went down. I just wanted to say certain things without even mentioning people's names. What wasn't meant
yeah.
to
But
be.
here's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing, and this is how I want to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Removing women from panels was not going to stop this, because it was the men along with the women that started this shit in the first place.
Yeah.
So the women who actually have a track record of actually doing the things that they're doing, I don't think that that's a good idea to just throw them out all with all the other women who did the shit wrong and bad. Fuck all that. I
Yeah.
think that all the women should be able to stay. I think people should be able to run their channels the way that they run them. It's just that one person decided to take a situation that he already fucking knew about and
Mm-hmm.
tried to turn it into some shit that it wasn't,
Wait,
along with another person
wait, wait,
who was around him for it.
that's why I said that. Well, that's why I said about the people that have no code or honor that will dip into that stuff like that, and basically you basically shot your own self in the foot. And
Correct.
basically, and people that rock with them, that are willing to actually do stuff like that, then you know what, you know better than they are. You shouldn't rock with them. That's just my opinion. Okay.
Now you have to understand that this shit does work in the real world if you
Hmm.
don't have people who would back you. Like I
Hmm.
said, I've investigated this shit and I've seen this shit destroy careers of people.
Yeah.
Just even having this shit out there, that this shit happened. But it's just that since I knew the entire story, that's why I went out there like that. And there was really no reason for this shit to happen. The women, I expect for rumors to go around like that. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we
Yeah.
needed the women to clear it up. The
Yeah.
woman who was the other counterpart of the situation, and unfortunately Cluster B.
And what I'm saying,
Without them two
yeah.
women, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that when they first start talking about pedophiles stuff like that, yeah,
Should have been gone at that point.
should have been gone at that point. That's what I was saying. Because you let it go. In my opinion, maybe not you, but because you can't control everybody. But the thing is that I'm saying y'all need to have a talk, and y'all need to really, in my opinion, tighten up, okay? Because this shit slipped through, and it shouldn't have slipped through. Because you should have been on it from the very beginning. And the thing is, but this is actually inexperience. Because you don't think,
Yeah.
it's not that bad, blah 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 blah. It'll work itself out. Next time you won't, in my opinion. I know you won't. You know, I know
No,
you
I
won't.
mean, I just don't allow this type of shit on my channel because I have a very specific
Yeah,
focus of the things I talk about.
the thing is, it ain't about. The thing is, it's not just about your channel. Okay, it's got to be. Uh, uh, It's basically, about the army, about the weakest link.
Yeah.
You
I
got,
mean, they
you
thought
got.
he was the weakest link and not covered by anybody. But
But the thing is, he needs to tighten up what he does, because
yeah.
if not, it's gonna happen again. You feel me?
But yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah,
Criticism taken, man.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
That's all I was doing. I wasn't really down in you. People think I was actually down in Manosphere 3.0. I wasn't.
No.
I was just
No,
giving
that wasn't.
some constructive criticism. B1
And
was B1 was actually who was was actually about the title about. It wasn't about Manosphere 3.0. It's about B1 and how they shot themselves in the foot, in the face. And this is a lesson to all other people trying to do this kind of bottom feeding shit. And we should eventually we're gonna have to start fumigating the whole goddamn manosphere to get this shit out of here. But the thing is, I can't do it because people still run over there.
yeah, I mean, dude, but at the end of the day, you can only control so much. Like
Yeah.
that guy could have only controlled so much. If people around him decided to do that shit and link up behind the scenes and put together this whole kind of thing, that's
Mhm.
fucked up. And I don't think
If
you can stop that type of shit from
if he
happening.
does
I just don't think
if
so.
he doesn't learn, then you're going to have to isolate him. Okay, if you
Yeah.
don't learn, because you're gonna keep bringing this shit back in. Okay, if you don't learn, you're gonna isolate. In my opinion, you're gonna have to isolate him. But thing is, that's for you guys to work out. Let me bring up explore your
All
options.
right, cool.
So,
All right,
all right,
thanks so much for having me on, man.
no,
I
thank
just
you.
hang out in the background. So,
Okay.
all right.
All right, explore your options.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
What
here.
up, man?
And nothing much. You said I guess you thought I was a female. So we got this. I don't think no female sound like me. So we got that part straight.
There's
Now,
another there's another person that has explore your options that is a female.
oh, oh. Well, I got it because I was just trolling Harrison at the time. That's where I got that from. But now when you was talking about earlier, talking about dad issues, I'm having dad issues. My father, like I put on the chat, real man, he took care of his family, happily married. We didn't believe in arguing with stuff. We got a problem, we fixed it. So what I was saying, this old generation, the whole group
Hmm.
failed. Flat
How?
out, they failed.
How?
Well, look at the state black people in. We're in worse shape now, probably, since we were in Reconstruction. We're
Okay.
not doing any good.
Okay. I had this chat on Art's channel, right?
Uh,
Okay. So you believe that we need to go back to Jim Crow?
no, I think we need to first. We need education. That's what
That's not
E.B.
the,
Du
that's
Bois
not
talking about.
the,
No, we
dude. Okay,
it,
dude.
it, it
No,
doesn't matter.
hold on, dude.
Yep.
If you're not going to answer my question, we're not going to have a dialogue. Then there's no sense you being up here, because my page.
You just
Dude,
putting it in two ways. It's a lot more than just two options.
dude. I'm asking you a question. You can actually say that you actually say that we don't, because your first statement is we're worse than Reconstruction, right?
Yeah, we are.
How?
Well, worse, we don't have anything. Back in Reconstruction, you had strong black families. You had actually
No, you,
black people owning
you,
things.
no, you didn't.
We were rebuilding America. We were
No,
doing a lot better.
no, you
Now
didn't.
we don't have anything.
You did. Where did you get that from? That we had
Wait,
strong black families.
well, not only well, especially down in the South. It was like 90.
Where did you read that?
Well, I had read it a while back, but as for what book,
Where did you read that? Because there's no book that said that.
no, they actually, I don't remember the name. So you got me on that part. I remember the name. It's been a while. It's been quite a while since we're dealing with black issues.
I
And stuff
have
like that.
read a bunch of books. Where did you read that?
I told you I don't remember. I mean, you keep, like I said, you keep saying that. I'm asking the same question. I don't remember.
Okay, you don't
I
remember.
don't remember. And like I said, you gave me two options out of the whole thing that we could do to help rebuild Black America.
No.
Decided.
No.
Now I did mention that
Dude, do I have to mute you?
But you can mute me if you want. If you want to try to curve the narrative, not let the person speak.
No, dude. We have a constructive conversation. You're making statements. Now, say it's your opinion because you're making statements. I'm challenging your statements.
Well, actually, we're not having a dialogue. To be honest, you're curving the narrative. A dialogue,
No,
two
I'm
people
not.
talk. I'm just answering your questions the way you got it out to me.
No.
Out of all the things you say, you put me in two boxes.
Dude, I muted you for a second. All right. You make a statement, I have a right to challenge your statement if you're going to make it. I have a right to challenge it. I'm not putting words in your mouth. This is you making a statement. Okay? Now what I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes because the only reason I asked you up here because I was actually gonna just block you completely. But the thing is, this is April. Um, I decided to actually do this because Kevin said I shouldn't. So I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. But the thing is, please stop making inaccurate statements that you can't back up. That's all I'm asking. Now go ahead.
No, you asked me, were we better in Reconstruction than we are now? That was your question.
Yeah.
And I said, back then, yes, we're better than we are now.
And I asked how.
No. Well, like I said, back then you did have families. Now I know you're going to try to say, no, we did. We had a strong family. Whether you call it shacking up, whether you call it marriage, whatever you call it, we
What
were
are we
together.
doing? What are we doing now?
Having babies everywhere with like 80% out of wedlock. That's what we're having.
What do you think was happening right after Reconstruction?
Well, I mean, some was doing it, but it was not the level it is now. Nowhere close.
No, I would beg to differ. Do you have a do you have an older person that was actually born back during that time?
Not alive, not now.
In other words, you ever heard of something called a walking divorce?
No.
You didn't. Okay,
No.
so you never heard of you ever talked to, well, I guess you don't talk to many people, right? Because
No.
because there's a lot of women that had that get married initially, right, to get out of the mama's house,
Uh-huh.
and then they will have babies by 3 or 4 different men. That's been that way for a very long time. Frazier talked about it. W. Du Bois talked about it. So this is not something that's new.
Well, when I look into like the past of my family members who've been married and relationships, I don't really see even now or then. I didn't see that. I didn't even hear about that. People actually were married and they had them a man. At the most, it was a child, one child out of wedlock, or one child with a husband. And like with my mother now, I'll say this: she was previously married. She was
Mm-hmm.
married to this man, and this man, she loved this man and said that the man's uncle came along and he wanted to show off for his uncle and he got my mother, his
Mm-hmm.
wife, and he hit the hardest he could in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And the uncle laughed and said, I wish he had killed you. At that moment, she went and she left. She was by herself, and that's when she met my father. He
Mm-hmm.
took my oldest son, he took my mom's oldest son in, raised him up as his own, and
Mm-hmm.
every child afterwards, from him on to me, I'm the youngest, all married. It was all we were under the same roof. If they did have problems, they kept that there. They didn't bring all that there. So this stuff you're talking about with these 2 and 3 and 4 babies, not only on my mother's side, my father's side, we didn't see that.
So basically, have you met all 40 million black people in the United States?
No, I haven't.
Well, then basically, your situation, which is somewhat indicative because she did marry twice, okay, and some women marry 2 or 3 times, okay, and some women marry once and shack up with 2 or 3 other guys. That is the norm. That's more the norm. Frazier said the exact same thing. If you read Frazier's book, the Negro Family in the United States, he said that. He had whole sections of that shit, man. Du Bois has whole sections of this stuff. Okay, this is not new.
But see, the main reason why I was calling, the reason why I was saying this, I'm talking about as from now on, person said, what do you do to fix this? You old cats, you can say what you want. The black community is in shambles. And I mean, it's pretty bad. You got Martin Luther King talking about love and peace. Now, on the other hand, I know he was talking about violence behind the scenes. You had Malcolm X talking about segregation and building. So you got 2 different types. Still, nothing worked. There's no reason for us to consistently be in the bottom. Now, I know a lot of women are having these kids out of wedlock, but there's a lot of ancient dudes too. So I'm saying that us young guys, we need to stop.
How, how old are you? If you're a young
I'm
guy,
27. No, I'm 27.
you're
It's time.
27.
Yeah, it's time for us to stop listening to you guys because if you knew the answers, you would have fixed it by now. I know it's a lot into it. I know it's a lot of variables, but so what? I'm saying now, stop. We're gonna stop complaining. We're gonna do the best we can. If we fail like y'all did. That's what Manosphere 3.0. That's what I'm thinking that more of us are like that. And if a woman don't want to come along, she got kids, let her leave it to the thug.
Basically, the two people that started Manosphere 3.0, guess where they were just a few minutes ago?
I don't know, probably on this chat, I would
They,
think.
they were right there. The two guys that actually started Manosphere 3.0. Those two.
Okay.
So basically, you don't have to guess about what they said because they're right here. They actually explain what Manosphere 3.0 is.
But see, this is the thing.
Hey, dude, ain't no but.
No, it is a but. It is a but. This is a big thing about. This is a big thing about me. We're not following them. It's just a name.
Dude. That's why I was talking about I was talking about Man of Tomorrow and Mike about this shit, man. About
you're trying to put people in a box. I'm saying it's just a name. I'm not following anybody. I'm a man. I'll lead by my example. I don't follow anybody. I'm just saying by name.
Don't use it then. When the people that actually created it are actually there, they explain what it was. All right.
But that's fair. That's fair. I don't have to use it. Well, I tell you this: what we just say, something simple. Us new age black men, us black men that's young, we decided we do our own thing, and you can call us something else.
What is it that you're doing?
Well, me personally, what I've been doing, I've been taking up the slack a lot of these deadbeats. Now, since this coronavirus done here, a lot of people don't even have jobs as it is. I have no children by choice. I've been responsible. Got me a nice savings. I'm working, and I've got my own business, and I got me another job that I'm working. I'm seeing these kids suffering down the streets.
And
I'm trying to help the kids. And the only problem that I'm running into is the thugs thinking I'm trying to have sex with the women they're trying to get with. And I know the problem that I have is the women want me to give them money, not their children.
Wait a minute. Are those old people?
No. Well, some are old, some young. Whoever need help, I'm trying to help them. It doesn't matter.
The people that you associate are those old people?
Mostly no.
Well, that's not the old folks' problem.
What?
You basically, and I quoted this from Chernobyl, right? Because I actually thought that was very key. Okay, we're built from 1,000 years of struggle, right? And every generation must know its own suffering. Okay, because when I came up as a boomer, we didn't blame our parents for what they went through because they went through Jim Crow. We didn't blame them for Jim Crow. Okay, we didn't blame them for that.
Yeah, but you asked me what was I doing, and I told you what I was doing personally.
Can I finish? I'll let you finish your statement. Did I not, sir?
No, you did.
Okay, because you give me your opinion, right?
Well,
I'm giving my commentary. Okay.
Okay.
Because this is a dialogue, right? This is not This is not for you to air out what your beef on my platform, right? This is a conversation between me and you.
Okay.
Thank you. If that's not what you want, then there's no need. I got like 500 people that I can actually bring up. Okay.
Okay. This is the dialogue.
So basically, what you're talking about is not our problem. And what I'm seeing is that millennials are basically the most confused generation that I have ever seen. And you talk about what old people did. You have millennials that are damn near 40. Okay. Boomers were doing shit when they were like 13, 14, 15 years old. The Panthers were like 18, 19, and 20. Okay. I don't want to hear what you think that you're gonna change because you ain't done shit. You just complain and talk about what somebody else hadn't done. You ain't done shit.
No, that's not. You asked me what was I doing. I told you I'm doing personally.
I didn't ask you. But basically, when I talk about you, when I said you, I wasn't talking about you personally. I'm talking about you as a fucking group because that's what you're talking about.
Oh, as a group, the majority of black men are lost, flat out.
I'm talking about your generation.
That generation. I think it's about lost.
Within it's lost. It's lost. Okay, it's lost. Okay,
because the majority of let's get it straight. The majority of them don't want to work. All they want to do, they want some sex, and they want to try to get it for free. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to. They lazy. I'm taking care of. I'm finna go when I go to work tonight. I got a lot of them that I got to take care of.
My problem, dude. You need to address your generation. Get them straight.
I think there's got to be a purge. Now you're talking about a purge. It's got to be a separation. It's got to be a separation because
good luck on that.
Because the thing is a difference between the black man and the thug. That's what I'm saying. With me, Me, my generation, other black men, we're tired of it. I can't convert. I can't make this lazy thug work.
Well, good
I
luck with
can't make
that.
him. He want that quick, easy money. So
Good,
I'm separating
good.
myself.
All right, man. All right, dude. All right, dude. You know what? You know what? We
I'm
ain't
in.
doing. We ain't doing this shit, man.
Well,
Because you give an opinion, you giving feelings.
no, that's not an
If you
opinion.
if you interrupt me one more goddamn time, basically I'm gonna go just boot you and forget it. You've been in my comment section. I ain't go looking for you. Did I go looking for you?
Now I was in your comment section, but you pretty much called me out, so here I am.
So I called you out because I said I don't go back and forth in my comment section. I'm giving you an opportunity to explain yourself. If you don't want it, I can bid you a good night.
I
Because
thought I was trying to explain myself.
because you have a beef with me. Yeah, and that's where it started. You have a beef with me. Like you know me. That's the first thing. I know who you are. You don't know who the fuck I am, man. You barely know who you are. And that's where the beef is. That's why I called you up. Because you have a beef with me. And you had a beef with me over the past a couple of months, but I didn't block you because I try not to block people because my block list is actually getting long. And you come up here with all this other crap. What beef do you have with me?
No, it's not you person. It's the whole generation. It's the whole leadership. I don't like how the young are listening to the old because
Don't.
it's not working.
Don't. Because you're here. Don't. Nobody's making you listen. In
No,
fact, you know, most boomers do. Most boomers, like well, the youngest boomer is my ex, right? She's 56. Okay, she's 56 fucking years old. She don't give a shit. What we want you guys to do is leave us the fuck alone and go do you. Because we're tired. We're tired of taking fucking care of you, trying to keep you out of fucking trouble, tired of bailing you the fuck out. Go do you. You guys are damn near 40 years old, the oldest one is of you. Go do you. Grow the fuck up and leave us alone. And stop blaming mommy and daddy. If you blame it once and then go do you. Because we have no problem. You guys are all fucking grown. So the shit that you do, it's on you. Because there's plenty of people out there, shrinks, books, self-help, the internet, to actually get you out of whatever problem that you're in. And you guys won't do it because and that's not our problem. That's the failure of your generation, not ours. Because we didn't have nowhere near the shit that you guys had. Because when I was coming up, only like 5 or 6% of black kids ever went to goddamn college, right? 30% of you guys do. You guys have way more opportunities, way more avenues, a whole bunch of shit that you can do. You can travel the whole fucking world, but you actually sit up here and complain about what we didn't do. We didn't have a fucking opportunity. We went through more bullshit than you guys ever had. Okay, when we get got out by cops, we get the fuck beat out of us. You guys actually protest and say, "Oh, I want my rights." You know what I said to a millennial? You know what I said to a fucking millennial that said that we were actually better off before civil rights? I said, go to white people and give them up. You guys, as a group, as you guys have 78 million millennials. All right, and what is it? Half of all black people are millennials. March down to Washington D.C. as a group and said we don't like being post-civil right black people. We would rather go back to Jim Crow. And in fact, you know who's actually going to help you? The alt-right, the KKK, white women's groups will gladly take all those goodies back that you guys have enjoyed. Go. You don't have to have them. They'll gladly take them all back if you want them to. They want to take them back anyway. Go down there and do it. You don't like it? You want to go back to pre-civil rights? Go do it. Nobody's stopping you. Go do it. Go do it. So the next time the cop stops you, you said, "I have civil rights." He'll pull you out the car and hit you upside with his head with that stick and say, "Fuck you, nigga. You ain't got no rights." Like they used to do to us. Go do it. Give them up. Respond.
Respond. What I was saying, even before that. Now, I hear what you're saying with that stuff, but we're not going to do anything as a group. That we can't do anything as a group. It seems like it's impossible unless there's violence.
I, I
We can do
want
that.
I want you to
Now,
address what you said earlier that we were better off before civil
now,
rights.
no, well, the thing is, back then,
I
at
want you
least,
to I want you to address what I just said as far as giving back your civil rights because that's how you're gonna go back to it.
well, I wasn't saying giving us civil rights. When I said we were better off, we had more businesses. Yeah, from what people had said, even I've even had talked to elders, said they've had doctors, they've had all kinds of different stores because they had to, segregated. So blacks had to survive. So they had to be inventive. They had to, they had to do things to make their community better. Now, all we do is pretty much just get something from the government. No innovation, no ideas about building a community, no taking care of your own. It's just, hey, can I get something for free?
You know,
So I'm thinking maybe we make that mark separate again. Either you be inventive or you die. It's about getting to the point. They say that's what Abraham Lincoln in his old thing said he wanted to send all blacks. Said that after he freed all blacks, he was going to send them to Libya and he's going to send them to Africa.
Libya,
Said Libya. Said he's going to send them. That's what's in Libya.
Liberia,
Yeah, like some people call it Libya, some people call it Liberia. But they call it two different ways. I
what?
mean, I've
Oh,
heard it. Yes,
okay, dude.
I'm just
Okay,
saying I've heard it.
dude,
Now
dude,
they may have
dude,
been
dude.
okay.
Don't use
You
terms. Don't use
okay?
terms. Oh,
You can say that.
hold on a second, dude. I have a pet peeve with people using terms that they don't understand. Okay, that's
It's a
my pet
country.
peeve.
It's a country. I
Where,
understand what it is. It's a country.
where is Liberia versus Libya?
I've never been, so I don't know that answer.
They have maps, sir. Where's
Yeah.
Liberia versus Libya?
I don't know where it's at on the map. I don't.
All right.
I'm
We
just
gonna.
telling you what I had read. I haven't been.
Okay.
I'm just being honest.
All
I
right.
haven't read. I don't know.
All right. You know what, dude? I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. We're gonna
Okay. Well, look,
because
like I said, but the thing is, you can argue with the location. It's fine, but it's true that he was sending us off. Now he was sending us off to those two places. He said that the learning curve said as the time went on, said that maybe we could evolve to being a better group of people. That's what that tyrant that said. So what I'm saying is maybe we do need to make that divide. Maybe we do need to make that separation. So maybe now we'll start being inventive. So I mean, the thing is the semantic. Yeah, you got me with you got me with the location. It's fine. But the point was, did he say that or not? And the answer, yes. So I mean,
okay. You know what? In my circles, and maybe I'm being a snob. In my circles, you don't get to say it if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't get to say it.
Okay, so you said I know. Did you look up? Did he do that or not?
I looked it up. That's why I know Liberia. You know where they got Liberia from? The history of it.
No, I don't know the history of it.
I
don't know history. I'm just saying, but I do know the history of America. I know it's what he did.
Where are the three places that Lincoln was going to send the slaves?
Well, I knew from what I've heard, it was only two. It was just those two, that in Africa. That's why he said he had to free us first, so we wouldn't be indebted to our master.
Where is Liberia, sir?
I don't know where it's on the map. I don't know where it's at on the map.
It's in Africa, sir. Africa's a continent, not a country.
But I was saying they broke up a lot of stuff. Egypt used to be a part of Africa. So I'm just saying they broke it up in a big continent.
It still is, sir. Egypt is still in Africa. It hasn't moved.
So they're not letting us claim it. Well, they're not letting them claim it.
All right, man. All right. Closing thought, dude. Closing thought, man.
Well, the closing thought.
You got 2 minutes. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you get 2 minutes.
The closing thought is, like I said, it's time for a difference. Now, like I said, I didn't go to all those places on the map. I'm American, born, raised in America. Now, a lot of people probably say, oh, he didn't know where that was. But no, hardly nobody knows where that's at. I mean, they may say they know, but if you put a map in their face, they wouldn't know. I was saying it's time for the young people to stand up because the old generation is going to die off. I'm going to die off. It's just natural order of things. They need to learn how to be leaders instead of always looking for somebody else that's older to take care of them. I think we can agree on that part.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right, man. I'll check you out later. Peace. All right. There's the link, man. I'll put the link in. What is it? We'll go to 2 hours. The stream's there. Angry Man can come on if he wants to. The link's there. I can't bring people on. People can come on if they want to. Angry Man always has a standing invitation. You guys don't have to say they bring him on. It doesn't matter. And I was sigh. I heard that. Until people want to come on, any other? Okay, here people are coming on. You know what? That's what I'm saying. That's probably why Kevin was right. I shouldn't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
BGS,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
lost for words at hearing this man speak. I ain't even gonna lie, man. When you sit here and talk about the younger generation taking care of, like when you talked about the younger generation didn't have any brains to take care. At least you got people in our age group that can take care of you. You imagine I'm about to be 41 years old. By the time I'm 80 years old, I'm gonna have people like that taking care of me.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Herb Saint, you got either one or two choices. Either get your ass on the panel, because you've been talking shit, or you can bounce, man. I have the snipers actually reload and actually take you out and give you Uber out.
This dude said Egypt was not in Africa anymore.
Oh, no way.
I mean, and then I'm sitting up here sitting there. I'm ashamed. Like when I hear these black people talk like this, I'm ashamed to be a black man. It's like, oh God, don't make it even worse for us, man. It's like, come on, man, you can't be that stupid. Then somebody trying to teach you something, I don't know, but, and I'm like, dude, you don't realize that's female talking points all day. Well, I don't know the answer, but you wrong. Nigga, you don't know the answer. Why the fuck you gonna tell me I'm wrong? What the hell is wrong with these kids, man?
Judge, how you think I feel as a millennial, man? To have this boy come up here and explain he's a millennial, I said, no way.
God damn, I see why DGS stood there with the Coke 45 in one hand and the gun in the other, with them dumbass fools coming up underneath you.
Yeah, he was going back and forth and saying that he knew me and I was fake and blah blah blah. And you come up and this is what you got? Come on, man.
There was no way
Liberia.
he was
Okay. I don't know. I can't tell, man. This is what he says. He said he's 27. I take him at his word.
Ain't no day.
You dumb fuck!
You sound like an Alabama
Somebody paid for his graduation. Ain't no way in hell he went to school, man. Ain't no way in hell.
The link is there. If you guys want to come on, you can come up. I don't care.
Hello?
We can hear you. Who are you, man?
This is NJ Grant.
NJ Grant.
Yeah.
Who's it? Okay, where do I know you from? What's your screen name?
It's one with the yellow person with the blue background.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying is, what's your screen name as far as being a sub?
First being a sub?
Yeah, are you a sub of mine?
Yes, I'm a sub of yours. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was subscribed to you since like 2 years, like 2018.
Okay.
And I gotta say I like your videos because like your videos are phenomenal, and I like it. Now my topic is the problem is a lot of black people from Canada.
Okay.
In America always say that they're Americans and Canadians, right? And whenever I say, listen, you're an African, you sent from Africa, stolen from Africa, they always get pissed off and say, no, I'm Canadian, I'm American.
Okay.
You can't say that. I'm not an African. Every
Uh,
time you just tell me, yeah.
well, guess what?
Every time,
Guess what the Africans say when you get over there?
you're
What
gonna
do you
say
think they call you?
they're gonna say, "Oh, you must be like
No, they say you're
a
an American.
tourist."
No, they say you're an American.
Yeah, they definitely
Or you
not.
said
They're
a
not that.
Canadian. Okay, that's what they say when you get over there. You're an American.
Mhm.
Okay, because African, which they actually they accept the term, but they also accept that they're from wherever they're from, the country or the tribe. Okay,
Right.
so basically, if you go over to Africa, guess what they're gonna say? I had to come to terms with that. I'm an American. It is what it is. This is where I was born. This is my culture. America is a culture, not a race.
Right.
It's a culture, not a race. So somebody that's from French culture, from uh, French DNA, that their parents have been here for like 200 years, they go back to France. Guess what the people in the French are gonna call them? You're an American.
Oh, so you're saying it's a name that represents
Your culture. Your
a
culture.
nation,
It represents your culture.
representing culture. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So if you're Canadian, you might be Canadian Caribbean, but the thing is, if you grew up in Canada, especially if you're like 2 generations in, you're Canadian. That's the
Right.
culture.
Mhm.
I figure if he's been a sub for 2 years, I'm pretty sure he's probably heard you go over
He
the
probably
same.
heard that. What I'm saying, he's expressing his thoughts.
Okay. I'm just wondering, you know.
Because a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, you're an African descendant,"
Yeah,
and it's kind of,
you
yeah.
are basically, unless you were a Native American and part of a tribe, most everybody here is descended from someplace else.
Right.
Mm.
You know.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Let me ask this guy a question.
Which one?
The one that just said that about us being African.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Since I can't tear that other guy to pieces.
Oh, man, I couldn't tolerate him anymore.
So to the guy that
You
said
go ahead.
that those of us that are in America that are black, that we're Africans, do you think Puerto Ricans are African?
Puerto Ricans are from they're not really Africans. I mean, the ones that were
How?
the ones that were
Explain
sent
how.
from Africa.
Explain how they're not
Oh, there
African.
you go.
Why they're not African? Because Puerto Ricans,
Yeah.
you kind of sound like a similar name to Portuguese.
No,
You know what I
that's
mean?
not what I'm
Puerto,
It's
asking.
kind of similar.
Puerto means
Kind of
Lord.
similar.
I'm not asking you about. I'm not asking you about the specific name of their nationality. What I'm asking you is, how are they not Africans genetically?
How? Because Puerto Ricans did not came from Africa. I'm just saying.
What?
Bro, they are, bro.
So they
Where
don't have.
Technically,
So let me ask you this question. So
Yeah, go
what
ahead.
you're saying is Puerto Ricans are not Africans because they have some indigenous blood from Puerto Rico, they have some European blood, and they have some African blood. So if Puerto Ricans are not Africans, how the fuck are we Africans in America when we come from indigenous European and African? You're not even
Well, like
making these
BG,
fucking sense.
Wait,
hold on a second.
let
Like
him
BG
respond.
said, it's like BJ said, we are grown from a culture where we're adapted from. Okay, so Puerto Rican,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But they're American though.
It's mixed. It's mixed. Yeah,
Puerto Ricans are Americans.
Yep.
yeah. It's mixed with Spanish
Mm-hmm.
Which is
and
European, right?
Which is
Portuguese.
European,
European. It
right?
was European. Yeah.
Which is European, right?
Yes. Now, anyone that grew up in Puerto Rican,
Import.
right? They speak the same language and they have the same culture. So if I was a black youth born in Puerto Rican, then I can adapt to this culture.
Okay,
And
first of
the
all, let me
language
go
that
ahead
we
and stop.
speak is my native tongue.
Let me go ahead and stop you. Let
what
me
they
go ahead
got to
and
do with
stop
their genetics?
you. Let me go ahead and stop you.
Yeah,
Because
go ahead.
you sound ridiculous right now.
Somebody has an echo.
Yeah, I think that's you. We're gonna let him continue. as long as Angry Man's actually going to keep
You,
talking. Go ahead.
you sound ridiculous right now, because right now at this moment, Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico are descended from Europeans who speak Spanish, indigenous people from the island of Puerto Rico, and African slaves.
Mm-hmm.
We are descended, most of us in this country are descended from English speaking Europeans, indigenous people from the continent of North America, and African slaves. So how the fuck are Puerto Ricans not Africans, but we're Africans? That's what I'm asking you. Yeah.
You know
why
you got me
you
there.
can't answer that question? You know why you can't answer that question? Because you acknowledge them as a different group of people, and you don't acknowledge us as a different group of people, unless it's to shame us or talk down to us. Black people in America are Americans, the same way Puerto Ricans are Puerto Ricans, because that's their nationality.
Can I ask him a question?
Hold on.
No, let me ask him a question.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. If black people are okay, listen. If America, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I was saying, like, if black people are like native to this continent, like America continent, okay? Because you say in your nationality, black people are Americans, okay? That's what you said.
That's what I said.
Now, if you said that you're American, aren't you African as well? You're saying
is Africa a nationality?
Africa's a nation.
No, it's not. Come on,
no, it's not.
It's a nation.
Africa is a continent.
It's
oh my
continent.
God.
Is Mexico part of North America?
Yes.
Is Canada part of North America, right?
South America. North America.
So North America is Central America, Mexico, United States, and Canada, right? So is United States a country or a continent?
United States is a country.
It's a country. Canada is a country or a continent?
Yes.
Okay. Is North America a country or a continent?
North America is a continent.
So you know how many countries are in Africa?
Well, a lot more.
A lot.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna let I'm gonna let you off the hook. I'm gonna let Angry Man and Archer ask you a couple of questions. We're gonna let you off the hook. Okay. Go ahead, Angry Man. You got any more for him?
Yeah. First of all, dude, if I'm not mistaken, most Africans don't really refer to themselves as Africans. They refer to themselves from whatever
the tribe they come from. Yeah.
So to refer to us as Africans is yet another way to keep us as this group of people, this sort of group of lost people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little insulting because we're not being referred to by a tribe or what Africans are traditionally referred to as. So yeah, we have African genetics, but the same way you look at Brazilians, they have African genetics, but they're acknowledged as a different group of people now. Same thing with Puerto Ricans, same thing with Dominicans. We're the only group of people who people around the world refuse to allow us to have an identity. And the reason why is because being American is always associated with being white, which is bullshit, which is complete and utter fucking bullshit. Because every last one of us over here, we come from this American culture, and we constantly try to keep Black history and American history like it's separate when it's one and the same. It's ridiculous. Now, does that mean we're not supposed to acknowledge our heritage? No, we're supposed to acknowledge our heritage. But as far as what you were saying about Puerto Rico and their culture, see, if you actually knew anything about Puerto Rico, you would know that a lot of Puerto Rican culture is African culture.
Yep. They're dancing.
because you didn't take your ass to Puerto Rico or even learn about Puerto Rico. You just think it's a bunch of motherfuckers that speak Spanish. And because they speak Spanish, that means they different or they separate from somebody else. Well, we speak English. Did that make us white folk? Did that make us British? Did that make us fucking English? No.
Yo. I don't know what they teach up in Canada, but I gotta ask you a question, bro. During slave trade, where were the most slaves brought? Where did they bring the most slaves?
They bring, like a lot from I heard from school. They bring to like South America. That's the first. That's the first country that they say.
So the most is the most.
And hold on. Can I finish?
You. It happens to be my channel, bro. Thank you.
All right.
Basically, be kind to him because he wasn't taught. You can tell. So try not to laugh. Yeah, he wasn't taught. But go ahead and finish, man. Because you weren't taught, man. I could tell you weren't taught. Yeah. So the thing is, we're trying to actually let you down easy. Okay.
Hey, BGS.
Yes, sir.
If I was on a boat sailing from the West to America, my first stop wouldn't be Virginia. It would be Texas.
Probably so. Probably so. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, man.
It would actually be Florida, but yeah.
No, but here's a question for you. How in the world did these
right?
people
It'd be Florida. It'd be Texas. I would hit Texas before I hit Florida.
Oh shit, you way off.
No, but I mean, just to let him know that a vast majority of the slaves were brought to South America.
They were actually brought to the islands first, which is Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and all that kind of stuff. They actually brought to the islands first before they actually brought to the South America.
But see, that's what I'm saying. How you not gonna, if you're on a boat, if you're on a slaving ship, the first pieces of land you gonna hit is gonna be the Caribbean. It's not gonna be, you gotta go there, you gotta pass through that before you get to South America.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Like this is something similar I heard. I mean, I like to hear both stories.
Okay, don't hear, dude. This is what it irks me about millennials. Don't hear, read, sir.
Right.
Google.
Y'all making us look bad, man.
Basically, Google
audio books, man.
Basically, you could actually go to Wikipedia and be more accurate. Okay, don't listen to people. Read.
Right. So,
read.
So, Archie, got one more question for me?
No, that was my only question. I just want to make sure he understood that. Because I think once he understands that, he will understand more why they're African. Puerto Ricans are.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Archie. I want to help him out.
Go ahead.
Butterfly in the sky.
Oh, shit.
I can go twice as high.
Oh, it's coming. LeVar Burton said it's coming back.
A reading rainbow.
A reading rainbow.
Shout out to Chaka Khan.
Yeah. But he's actually coming back like next week as far as Reading Rainbow.
Oh, he is?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Yeah.
They need to bring that show back.
And Jordy LaForge.
Angry Man, I'm gonna meet you in hell. We going as a team, bro.
Now, any topics you guys want to bring up?
I just want to say, like, I mean, I ain't trying to go in on you, but did you graduate?
Yeah, I graduated with a diploma since 2015.
Oh, I'm willing to bet he has a master's degree.
Like what just gets me is I'm not even gonna lie.
You ain't shit, Sir Juan Valdez.
I never have been, but it would not, in this day and age, it would not surprise me if brother had a couple masters in history.
Yeah, man. I don't understand. Like I ain't even gonna lie, man. If I went back to school now compared to like somebody I've seen these young people coming out. Shoot, what's so bad is I hardly paid attention in school, and I know, like, literally, very rarely is a question that they ask that I don't know about. But I hear you young people, you just got out of school. We should have forgot it. It's not like we using that information every day. We older people, we damn near hitting 50, and we still remembering this.
We actually learned
the thing I did for my
one at a time. We ran first, and then Archer. Go ahead, Valdez, for you first.
No, I was saying, I was telling Judge, I said we actually learned something when we was in school.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe them ass whippings when we didn't do our work maybe made us learn.
That
Something. I
also
don't know what it was, man.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, the
I've been
best
They
thing,
surprised.
didn't teach it. Go ahead, Archer.
the best thing I did was dropping out of school when I was in ninth grade. Shit, I know more niggas that graduated.
You ain't lying. Unfortunately, that's a sad referendum on our school system.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, the funny thing
No,
about
NJ Grant, it doesn't make you sound dumb. Basically, it makes you sound unlearned. Somebody didn't teach you. It's not your fault, but you need to go educate yourself.
yeah, I wasn't talking about your voice. I was
No,
talking about the shit you were saying.
yeah,
Right.
you weren't taught. You could tell you weren't taught.
And they were actually letting you down pretty. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, NG. They was actually being nice to you. That go to show you would have been to any other panel, especially on them other side over there. They'd have been clowning you.
Yeah,
they kind of let you down nice, like we was being nice to you.
Valdez, is Aqua 88 cool?
Aqua, yeah, he's straight.
He's straight. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to come back on Aqua, you can actually come back on. I just want to clear up the other stuff first. But if you want to come back on, you're cool.
And
So
you know
BGS,
what?
that guy,
So what?
No, I was gonna say I gotta address what dude said. That shit is gonna drive me crazy.
Go ahead.
me too.
The dude earlier, I gotta address what
Go
he
ahead.
said. First of all, he was dead wrong for all of his damn statements. Number one, the biggest problem with the youth nowadays is the fact that they don't listen to their fucking elders.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't accomplished a motherfucking thing. They haven't even attempted to accomplish a motherfucking thing with way more fucking opportunity. Because I already see them trying to fucking look at Gen X and blame us for shit. So I know exactly how the boomers fucking feel.
Mm-hmm.
The shit is fucking annoying. And for him to get up here and say, oh, all of these thugs, they don't want to work and shit and blah, blah, blah. Like, man, look, stop repeating white supremacist talking points, man. Black men are actually progressing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually progressing right now. Right now, at this moment, black men make $1 or $2 more than Latin men. You feel what I'm saying? On average. So to be talking that goofy shit and not even know the facts, like when it comes to deadbeat dads and dudes that don't want to do shit, that's a very low percentage of the black male population.
Mm.
Even the ones in that low percentage, they don't really, like, a lot of them brothers don't even have enough money to pay child support. So to call them deadbeat dads is really fucked up.
Yeah. We try. We actually try very hard on these platforms to actually straighten up most of that shit, man. And you guys aren't learning,
Yeah,
which
that
is
pissed me off.
kind of hurts me.
I think a lot of us do
we
pretty
say
good.
this. We say this continuously. You guys are not picking up the lessons, which actually
because it's mostly myths. It's mostly propaganda bullshit that's constantly been perpetuated to make black men look horrible. Like the thing about why black people were together back in the day more than what you would consider now is because back in the day, black people didn't have a fucking choice. They had to be together because of segregation.
You know what, Amanda, that actually tickles me?
Right.
Is that you get up and you're obviously not educated. You're an uneducated motherfucker. They're actually looking down on what, street dudes?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But
like you're walking around with
pissed me off.
like you're walking around with a fucking PhD in history, and you're not. And you can barely put two sentences together. You're actually talking down on street dudes? Come on, man.
And that's what's crazy. Like he sat there like I'm a street dude and I'm smart enough to fucking know that Libya and Liberia are two different places in Africa.
But what I will say, let me say this in his defense.
I just put my head down.
He's a product. No, but let me say this in his defense. See, he's a product of when they say the women just sit the child down in front of the television. And basically the child has been exposed to all female talking points, like when they see the memes and shit and they grow up. So they believe those memes are true because that's the only shit that they see is on the internet because they only see the woman side of the memes because that's all his mama is watching.
No,
and unfortunately, he just brainwashed.
Nope, I can't. We can't let him off the hook. Like
I mean, no. I mean, I'm just saying.
Judge.
No,
Come on, man.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I used to sit in front of the TV all the time, and there was plenty of shows that taught geography.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm
Well, that, yeah. I'm talking about the other dude though. Man.
But the thing is, you know what, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says that about knowledge. He said, you know just enough to think that you're right, but not enough to know that you're wrong.
Yeah. He actually said, no, he is fucking awesome.
He is awesome. Yeah.
Nobody said.
Yeah, he is.
That is so accurate.
Yo, but the dude came up here and literally
You're bored.
Borgen.
Borgen. Borgen. All right. Put up the hanger on that Obama phone, man.
Yeah, man.
You Borgen.
No, I just love how they try to tell you what's in a book that they ain't never read.
Oh, something in the show. Hey, what's up, BGS?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, this Aqua Dragon, man. Hey, man, listen, I'm a huge fan, subscriber to you. I'm listening to you for a while, and you definitely the OG, man.
Appreciate
you. Know
you,
what I mean? Yeah, already.
But the other thing that the dude said that really, really got on my fucking nerves is like, and these dudes out here, man, they just want to run around and make babies and blah blah blah. Like, that is inaccurate. It's not only wrong, it's absolutely wrong. Like, how the fuck are black men running around making babies everywhere when we're at a negative birth rate across the board? How the fuck is that even possible?
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
because he's living up.
They just pull it out their ass and just run with it, man.
What are they so angry about, man? That's what I don't get.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you what it is, BJ.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what they're fucking angry about. Niggas need a struggle to define themselves by. The reason why these Negroes are mad is because for the first time in the history of the fucking world, in the history of this country, black folks are actually free and actually have options.
Yep.
That's true. They have choice. That's true.
They have choice now. And because they have choice, a lot of people are we're not even like, nobody really pays attention to the timeline. We've been slaves. Our forebearers were slaves longer than we've been fucking free.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're really looking at the development of black people.
Okay.
As we speak, we're looking at the development. See, we haven't even seen where we're going to end up as black Americans. We don't know where we're going to end up because we're just now having the opportunity to actually decide what we want to do for ourselves.
So basically, this is the slaves being let off the plantation and they're lost. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I can see that.
That's exactly what it is. Because technically, if you look at Reconstruction, Jim Crow, we still was under a bunch of bullshit. In my personal opinion, this is just me. This is just my guess. I kind of feel like we didn't really get free until like the fucking 70s. In my
basically, I would say when black folks really got from under the boot was actually the late 70s, maybe early, to early 80s, where they actually feel the grips of racism actually release on you.
Yeah. Yep. And see, just like I said, when I did a stream about that where I was talking shit, where I was like, the problem is the moment that black people realize it's just like, I hate this analogy, but I'm gonna use it anyway. It's just like when if you ever have a dog that you keep on a chain in your backyard, right? When you first let that dog loose, that motherfucker gonna run everywhere he can as fast as he can. He gonna run to you. And the reason why he's doing that is because in his mind, he doesn't know how long he's gonna get to be free. He thinks he's gonna have to go back on that chain. And I feel like that's what black people are doing right now. I feel like black people are just like, oh, let's just run buck ass wild.
If I really want to define it, that when black folks actually really the grip actually really loosened was right after Rodney King got beat.
Yeah.
Where the cops really had to back up off of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let,
That's just
let
my
me add,
experience. Go
what's
ahead.
going
Go
on,
ahead,
fellas?
Mike.
Let me add to that just a tad bit. I think a lot of these dudes, because now, like Angry Man said, you've been assimilated into this culture so much.
Mm-hmm.
These niggas is really mad, and this is the truth. These niggas really mad they're not white. That's their problem.
Yeah.
These niggas really mad. They see what these white boys got and
Mm-hmm.
can't understand that these white boys got most of their stuff off of credit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because
They'll know it now.
well, you know
Yeah, they'll
what?
know it now.
You know what? That's because every other culture or every other quote unquote racial group in this country,
Mm-hmm.
what they are is predefined for them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no break in their lineage. So like if you're here and you're descended from Irish, there's no break in it. But with us, we're literally trying to define what it is to be black and what it is to be black as a black American. But the problem is we keep trying to define it as what it was in the 60s. But we don't have the same struggle that we had in the 60s. We don't have the same conditions that we had in the 60s. So instead of trying to evolve and be something that we've given our own definition for, we keep trying to reach back to that. But we're not in
But
that
that's what I'm
same
saying.
conference.
That's what I'm saying. What you're seeing is the struggle of the mind, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
I say that they're trying to be white, look at the black woman. What's she
Yeah.
trying to be? She's trying to be white, as opposed
Yeah.
to just having. If the men were leading, if black men were leading, black men would have their own identity and be forming communities where we would have already had something that we could kind of have a foundation, have our feet on.
Well,
But because you have this, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a little subtle difference though. There's a very subtle difference. I feel like black women are trying to embody what white is, for the benefits of it, and trying to actually I think them trying to be white comes from self-hatred. I think black men, who try to be white, I think that comes as just a survival tactic. Because I don't really see black men really wanting to be white. I don't really see
No, I
that.
just think they just want to use the tool correctly, which is,
Mm.
capitalism. I think that's
They-
what I mean. Yeah, and maybe I should have made that distinction.
I
Most
think
black
black.
dudes,
I think black men want a level playing field. That's what they want.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
they
We never
finna get
got
it. They finna get it real. They finna get it
it.
right.
Not the way we want. Not the way we
Yeah,
want
but
it.
not we want it. But they finna get it. If Angry Man's sister, if Angry Man's sister or cousin got enough common sense to make masks and start selling them bitches on Facebook groups, if they see brothers out here now selling these masks on face, even on the street corners, look, nigga, ain't no excuses now. There's just no excuse no more.
Yeah, this like I feel like in my personal opinion, I feel like black men have an identity, and it's crazy because the crazy thing is as we're moving forward, the wedge between black women and black men, that gulf just keeps getting
Keep
bigger
growing.
and
Yeah.
bigger.
It's gonna keep growing. Yeah.
And it's because in my opinion, it's because of the fact that, you know, black men have an identity that we've had to suppress. Black women
Mm-hmm.
have an identity, but they kind of like it's weird. It's like they don't want to be black women, but they do want to embody the negative parts of their stereotype. It's really weird. Like
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with them.
because even with the divide that goes on, I was talking with my friend that's a therapist, and she was asking, she literally asked a question. She goes, I don't understand. She goes, I'm not knocking it, but she says, I don't understand how they can just let y'all just, at least the good ones of y'all that are doing right, how they just can throw y'all away like that. Like, to her, it blew her mind that she's like, you would let a dude that wants to work and have ownership over his house and set rules and guidelines in place so everybody can be
Mm-hmm.
have a fair shot, and have fun in the home, you throw that nigga away.
Yeah. I, I,
You know,
I think if we're willing to accept it, we can understand it. The thing is, we haven't accepted it for a very long time because
yeah, but
once you accept it, it's very plain. But go ahead, Mike.
no. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's what I was telling brothers, which is regardless of regardless of this whole talk about we should have a divide or not, you're gonna have one regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the producing men who are um, true dom gang, men who have can hold their frame, and be real leaders. This thing right here is gonna show proof of who you are. And like BGS said, you're gonna be tested, not just on these YouTube streets, but in the real world. And we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna see if this stuff really applies to you. And you niggas that go ghost for about
Mm-hmm.
6 months, we're gonna know what happened to
Mm-hmm.
you. You're not really about this life. You're not really about the truth and just being in it and living it. These dudes out here, what we've I said this before, everybody's running out of space and the truth is catching up. And what Angry Man is saying was true. When you go back and look at all these studies, when you go back and look at all this research where they tried to paint black men a certain type of way, there already is a narrative there for us, which is most black dudes don't do shit. Not saying like I'm talking about black men are progressing in a very good way. Even Judge Joe Brown, when he was on with Kevin Samuels, and I recommend anybody to go watch that one. It was a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he talked about black men paying their child support on time.
Mm-hmm.
Black men are actively working and actually have jobs and occupations. Um, you know, the fact that they would undermine a man like him just because he's spouting the truth, there is a narrative there. The fact is they don't want that narrative, the real narrative about you to come out. That's what they're scared of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if the narrative about black men, if the reality of what a black man actually is, which is a fucking survivor, which is somebody who has been oppressed and disenfranchised, and in spite of all of that, has still been able to prevail in many ways, that's going to shine a light on black women. Like
Exactly.
what is it? What's your issue? You see? And that's the reason why they push so hard against that, because it's kind of like when you got two siblings and one of the kids keeps on pointing at the other kid that they're doing something to cover up the fact that they're the guilty one.
All right. If you guys are on, you need to speak up. Otherwise, I'm going to actually replace you guys with other people.
Well, I think Angry Man is right, on that. But I can't remember who was speaking to this. But I have to say that I was just recently married, actually yesterday, and
Mm-hmm.
my wife, she's a South African. She's a black South African,
Okay.
and yeah, and I'm in the process of kind of educating her, because she's asked me a lot of questions
Mm-hmm.
about black women, about black America, about black men.
Mm-hmm.
But she's really, one of the things that she said to me, and she said this to me some months ago, and she's still kind of asking me this. Do black women in America actually want to be married? Okay.
The short answer is no.
Well, no, that's the exact answer that I give her.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell her that, the why is the education. That's where the education and the history has to come in, the long drawn out history and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I don't think that is appreciated, in terms of Black America, right, is how just how much of an impact, a negative impact, just how much of a death blow was slavery, Jim Crow, redlining. I don't think we really, and I say we in general. I know Angry Man, BGS. I know guys like, and I say myself because I've done a lot of history on that. I've done a lot of research on this.
Mm-hmm.
But Black people in general, Black Americans in general, and I said this in the chat that in Western societies, in particular the United States, there is no education that goes on in these schools. There's
Mm-hmm.
indoctrination, but
Yeah.
it's not real education. Educating is actually a a revolutionary thing. That's kind of a that's almost a kind of revolt there when you actually have
Education is meant for whom? Education meant for the upper classes.
yes, I can agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, and what is the rest of the classes get? They get what? Indoctrination, which has been the goal of public education for the last, I would say, what, 200 years?
I would go back further than that, but yeah.
Well,
Let me ask him a question.
before that you didn't get it. There
Let me
was
ask
no
a question.
public education before that. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. So he says that racism and Jim Crow did a lot of damage.
Oh yes.
So you
No. I
what?
said slavery, Jim
Mm-hmm.
Crow, rather those things. Those are some death nails. Though that I don't think we really understand just how badly that has affected Black America.
Okay. So how much?
The
What
thing is,
percentage would you?
the thing is, they do. They just don't tell you.
Well,
So then what?
wait a minute, who knows, and they just won't say.
In other words, your elites already know because they talk about it
I'm
all.
not talking about the elites. I already know the elites know. I think that's a given. The elites know. The elites know full well, which is the reason why they have directed the quote unquote educational system the way that they have.
Of course, and your black elites know too. They just don't tell you.
I'm gonna be honest about the black elites, and I think that what I'm gonna say is even more damning towards the black elites. I think to a large degree that they don't know, but they've taken the rhetoric seriously.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, because I've read it. I've read this, the what they've said, and I've talked to people that teach in those fields, and I can tell you they know. They just don't
Okay,
tell you.
look, I'll take you at that. You know, I mean, I'll take you at that. I've always felt it's nothing
Okay.
nobody told me. I've always felt that the elites, the black elites, and I call them more so henpecked handpicks
or the boule.
gatekeepers, that they have actually taken the rhetoric of America, the Constitution, all of that. They've taken it seriously. And they are the only ones in the building that are taking it serious. Everybody else don't take it serious. They take it as rhetoric. They don't take it as rhetoric. They take it seriously.
That's my question too. My question to you is: if you say slavery and Jim Crow have done irreparable damage to us, how much is active choice? How much damage has that done to us?
Well, before I answer, you'd have to kind of give me a little bit more on that. How much of active choice?
Meaning this. I was talking with that friend. I was talking to the group of white women about this, and I asked them the same question BGS asked to see what their reaction would be. I said, black women in 1973 under Lyndon B. Johnson took welfare. Now, if you go look back at the stats and all the literature from white feminists, they was damn sure getting their asses whooped by they man. They was damn sure getting their ass whooped. And a whole bunch of other stuff. I says, when welfare came along, why didn't they get rid of they man?
Okay, when you're talking about black women,
no.
When I said, okay, let me say this. When I said that I don't think we really fully grasp the whole just how much damage that slavery, Jim Crow, and all of that has had an impact on Black America. I wasn't necessarily talking about in terms specifically to black women. I was speaking more in general to black people. But when you're talking about black women, I think there's a lot of choice that has. I think a lot of choice has that. I think choice is a large element to that.
Well, but basically, choice is always defined by indoctrination.
Yes.
And basically, even though they were given a choice, guess what they chose? They chose the same basic thing they had been socialized to for a very long time. So
it's in slavery. Yes, absolutely.
It's in slavery. So I agree with you there. It's not as much choice as you think it was.
Right, and that was the reason why
I agree with that. BGS, I agree with that. My issue is not My issue is not that they what they their decision that they made.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is when you did find out,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you do find out the truth,
Mm-hmm.
why is there such a fight against the truth?
Well,
Right?
because what's the three things wrong with black women?
Not taking
That that
accountability.
attitude.
No, shame, guilt, and the need to be right.
Need to be right.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
They're ashamed. They're ashamed of it. They're guilty that they actually did it, or their mothers did it. And guess what? They want to be right, so they're not going to admit it.
hey BGS, got your question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you know what I'm saying. So what do you think the solution to all this, for us to be better people? Because I'm so tired of using the victim mentality. I understand that the system was created for us to be dismantled and it was manufactured for us to be effed up. But I'm tired of keep on using that mentality. Like I'm the type of person who wants to what I'm saying, stop continue the agenda of the, I guess, white supremacy of the
Mm-hmm.
system and
Mm-hmm.
be better people. So
Okay.
I'm saying, well, what do you as an older black
You,
man?
you want the which pill which pill do you want? You want the blue, the red, or the black?
I'm gonna say red because, from my knowledge, that's the one of the deep rabbit hole.
You want the black?
No, red pill.
You want the red pill? The red
Yeah.
pill is that because of the conditioning and the gravity of things that they're still going to
Mhm.
follow the will of the black of the white society, because it's been indoctrinated in a lot of forces that as far as how you form a society is going to enact on them. So that's the red pill. That's the truth. That's being better people. Basically, if you want to be better people, you're going to have to shake off your old programming, which is very, very difficult.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
But
exactly. Taking a program and also, and plus BGS, it's
hmm
so much knowledge, information out here that we've came across and we learned the truth. It seemed like some of us, when we learn the truth, we still go back into that blue pill program. With me,
but,
as soon as I learned
You
the
know why?
truth, I kept on going forward.
but the thing is, you have to accept the truth, and a lot of people are not going to accept. You have to accept it and use it. You can accept it and say, "Okay,
Hmm.
that's true," but keep going back to your same old ways. That's where the rubber meets the road. Are you going to change?
Hmm.
Are you going to get out of your comfort zone and change?
Right.
Yeah, I had a couple questions.
Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
one was about when we were talking about Puerto Rico and about them being like African descent.
Yeah.
So I don't really argue with the fact that they're African descent, but I
Mhm.
was just wondering if anybody in the chat was aware, because like the island of Hispaniola, they
Mhm.
wiped out the tribes that were there,
Yeah.
the native people that were there. Is that the same case for Puerto Rico? So like,
No,
yeah,
even in Hispaniola, basically, you can wipe out the tribe as the pure people, but they will also be mixed in with the slave. The DNA will go on through other people.
No,
okay,
in Puerto Rico, they didn't wipe out the tribes. They started out when the Spaniards went there. They started out using
Yeah, they're slaves.
the natives,
the
then
slave. What tribe is that again? BGS? I forgot the name. It's
I can't remember. Arawak, Arawaks actually were on both islands.
yeah. It's but no, it's the other one that I was talking about. What
Okay.
the fuck is the name of that?
The Arawaks actually helped the original the indigenous tribes in Puerto Rico from being wiped
Taino,
out.
the Taino Indians.
you know,
Thank you,
yeah.
the Taino.
Taino.
When they first went there, they actually was using the Tainos
Uh-huh.
as slaves, and then there was a friar that had came there from Spain with Ponce de Leon,
hmm
and when he saw how they were dying, he went back. When he went back to Spain, he begged the crown to like stop them from using the Tainos. So they stopped using the Tainos, but then they complained about that. So that's when Spain gave him permission to start going to Africa and getting African slaves.
hmm
And then
Okay.
when they started bringing African slaves to Puerto Rico, um, the Tainos helped some of the African slaves actually escape into the mountains and shit like that. There's a whole fucking sordid history behind that shit.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, exactly.
So then the second question is about so slavery in the US now. Like you have like 200 years of people basically not being allowed to read or pass down their heritage or
It's
maintain
not that long, but yeah, well, go ahead.
their culture. Okay, I guess my numbers might be off, but
Mhm.
that has a drastic effect on when you're talking about having an identity and a culture as
Mhm.
well, right? Because
Well, that was
they're
the point.
The original slaves were actually indentured servants. So basically, um, before I think it was, I would say 1760, there were actually more freed blacks that were indentured servants than blacks in chattel slavery, and the balance didn't actually reach it until I think it was 1780 or 1790, something like that. So basically,
and
you had lots and lots of free blacks before that actually went through the English system of indentured servitude and got freed after like 7 to 10 years.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they could read, they could write, they could do all that kind of stuff if that's what they wanted. Uh, not having them read and write was actually more of a southern thing with chattel slavery. It was actually
Okay.
introduced like after uh, the mid 1700s or something like that, and then that's when they started breeding slaves and the whole 9 yards and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the
Well,
islands
that's
started
when,
getting.
huh? Say what?
I was saying the islands, including Puerto Rico, started getting used as more breaking grounds. They would bring black, mostly males. I think you pointed that out,
Mm-hmm.
PGS. Where the islands, where it was mostly black males at that time, and
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh yeah.
islands were being used mostly as places to break them, to actually make the slaves, and then to be sold here on the mainland.
Actually, if you go back and read like what is it, um, Daughters of the Slave, and also the American Slave Coast. Okay, the thing is that the reason you needed so many slaves in Hispaniola and basically which is the islands, because they grew sugar cane, right? Sugar
Hmm.
cane was like a death camp. The average slave did not live beyond like 6 or 7 years.
Right.
So they would not have. They didn't have enough slaves. They would not have sold, break them and actually sold them to America. Very few actually uh, slaves actually made it to the islands or even to Latin America. Actually made it to America. Very
Yeah,
few.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was hard.
And
It
most of the
getting very
slaves,
hard.
that actually made it were actually bred, and then that's like South Carolina and Virginia had that thing about not importing any more slaves from Africa, because actually America actually shut up the transatlantic slave trade to the United States because they were breeding them. It was cheaper and faster to breed them and more effective to breed them than they were actually
And
bring
the
them.
importations was slowly becoming illegal.
They made okay. There's actually did a couple of videos why it was actually illegal, why they made it illegal, um,
Hmm.
and it wasn't because of it wasn't
It wasn't because they were just trying to be nice. No,
no,
it
it
was
wasn't because of morality. Basically, they
right.
wanted
It
they wanted to
more
keep.
had nothing to do with it.
Basically it's the same thing about a tariff, because there was a tariff on
Hmm.
importing
Yeah.
black slaves, right? Because they wanted more of a value for the slaves that they were actually growing rather than the slaves they were actually importing. And basically, it was Thomas Jefferson actually shut up the slave trade in 1808 from Africa, because he wanted Maryland, Virginians, and South Carolina slaves to actually be worth more. So they exported slaves from the East Coast to the growing country, which is to the west. And then actually Nigerian brother actually put up a good video, which I might just go ahead and host because most people didn't look at it. Nigerian brother said it was actually the reason the British actually cut off the slave trade is because um, the people on the west, the Africans on the west coast were selling too many slaves. They're actually emptying out all the labor out of Africa because they were actually getting more value for it by selling them than using them, right? And basically the Europeans wanted the resources from the West Coast, since they actually came in and took it over, right? So they prevented them from actually shipping out the labor, so they have more labor to actually export resources from the continent. But those are the reasons they shut off the slave trade. It has nothing to do with morality or anything like that.
Right. Slavery never ended in the United States because of some moral reason.
No, never
No.
did. What it
No.
it didn't end, the trade didn't end because of moral reasons, right? And even the slavery itself didn't end. It ended for two reasons: because you had an industrializing country, and then the second thing is that Lincoln needed to win a
Needed to
war
win the
against
war.
yeah. What else?
It ended almost for the same reason it started: economics.
Economics, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And the South and the North had two different economic interests.
It do two different economic. It's a very. I actually suggest the book, the American Slave Coast, because he goes through all of that, every last little detail, what they did, why they did it, what it was worth, all the stuff that Claude Anderson kind of hinted at, but didn't put in the details. This book does. It's actually a very long book, but he goes through all that stuff. Even goes through indentured servitude of white people. So basically, if you want to know about American slavery, I would say, in my opinion, that's probably the best book that I've ever seen come out.
BGS.
Yes, sir.
What is
Yes,
that
sir.
book?
You better cut that out. Don't you bring up them indentured servant white people. You know,
Oh, they
these Negroes. Know these Negroes that have a damn fit. There was never no white slaves.
You know they had gotten to the point, and he actually said this, where they would. Where do you think the word Shanghai came from? Okay, they're actually kidnapping came from. They're actually kidnapping people off the streets of Great Britain and France, man, and actually bringing them over.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. All of them weren't willing. Okay.
So now there was like a whole different form of slavery that was happening on like the east coast of Africa as well. That was like more of the Ottomans that were like running slave trades in like the Kenya and Tanzania region.
Okay, chattel slavery was that's why they differentiate chattel slavery from every other foreign slavery. Most slavery back then was indentured servitude. In other words, you had a period between
Almost like a
7 to 10 years, maybe a little longer, but eventually you were freed. Okay, and basically in chattel slavery, you're actually not only brought into it, but if you're born into it, you stay a slave. Okay,
It was never the basis of an economy like it was in the United States.
yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
that was the first in human history.
All slavery is based on economy, man. That's not true. But the thing is, they ran it differently.
Well, to the extent that it wasn't in the United States, that was never seen before in the world.
No, well, there's always a first.
That's what I was.
Well, you got to think first of all. Part of the reason you had what you had going on in the United States with slavery, look at the people who came to America to actually settle here. Look at the types of people who came here. You feel what I'm saying? The people who came here from other countries were not the best folks in the first place. I mean, go back and look at that movie. Yeah, go back and look at that movie, Gangs in New York. Like they didn't even like each other.
No,
they were the worst.
Well, they killed hundreds of millions of each other when they in two world wars.
Yeah.
Of course they didn't like each other.
Every other European nation
one time.
Like how much of the population did that take out? Like World War II?
World War II, I would say, took out maybe a quarter of the population of Europe, 100 million people. Yeah, like 70, 80 million people in World War II. Got to remember that 20 million Russians alone, plus what they killed, must have killed at least 60 million people.
Is that around?
Wasn't the people that died were more civilians than soldiers?
Yeah. Well, civilians become soldiers when they're attacking your country.
Right, but I'm saying in terms of who was wearing a uniform, more of the civilians were dying than soldiers were.
Well, there wasn't soldiers going into concentration camps and in gas chambers.
Correct.
Yeah, well, your boy was kind of doing shit on a wing and a prayer, and he kept winning. He kept winning because he kept. I don't say his name because that's a fucking.
Oh, okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
Adolf.
Yeah, Adolf. When you talk about him, that's a buzzword, But like, cause I like going back and watching the they took all of the old videos and they put them in color and shit.
Yeah, so I love that.
Yeah, I go back and watch them joints, and the way he was winning was crazy because I was like, okay, now it makes sense what happened when he tried to, invade Russia. I said, now it makes sense.
His generals told him because that's the same mistake that Napoleon made.
Sure was.
He was
100 years earlier.
About it, he had so many. There was a couple of times that he could have gotten stopped. Like he wasn't supposed to take France.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't supposed to take France, but he kind of did that on luck. You feel what I'm saying? Because they came up with that strategy to have the, you know, the faster tanks and shit, you know, and got there like they was expecting them to take them weeks to get there. They only got there in like days.
Well, we got to remember that's the second time they took France in the 20th century. World War I, they were at the gates of France, of Paris, had taken France. And basically, that's why there's a curious thing called the Spanish flu actually stopped the Germans from actually taking over the whole continent because they'd already taken it. But the thing is, once the Spanish flu showed up, the soldiers got too sick to fight.
Yeah, it was said that Germany was actually winning, and then they just gave up.
That's the reason they say they gave up. They don't say why.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason they gave up. It wasn't because they wanted to. They just threw down their guns. It's called that freaking H1N1 that actually caused them to give up.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I had came up earlier. I was having some technical problems, but I was trying to defend us millennials from these goofballs that had came up earlier.
Well, don't feel bad because there's a lot of boomers that are in that same class, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, I was trying to had came up to try to save our reputation because dude couldn't even get to thinking Africa's a country and everything else. That I was just shaking my head the whole time.
But Africa's a country. Who said that?
Actually, both of them. There was two of them that said that.
Yeah, they had no idea.
And when dude said
that, one didn't know about Liberia and everything,
they said Liberia was Libya. I said, okay.
Some people call it Libya, and some people call
that's the Western education on display. Prime example.
That's
he had the nerve.
I knew Valdez was biting his upper lip because I was. The evil twin wanted to come out.
I didn't hear that one. That was before I came up. I didn't hear that one.
You hear that one?
Yeah, that's why I came up. I was like, I gotta save. And then he has the nerve to say, "Oh, I'm a millennial." Like, come on, dude. All of us ain't like you. But that's I had pretty much came up to do. I was like, come on, man. All of us millennials, we don't think like whoever this dude is. And plus, he ain't seem like no millennial to me. He sounds a lot older than he claimed he was.
There are some millennials that sound old, man. If you're street, that's why I know he's a street dude. He ain't no educated lame or upper class dude because he's a street dude who's been smoking too much weed and drinking too much cheap liquor.
You sound like an Alabama pimp.
If you drink enough
weed and malt liquor.
Yeah, go ahead.
That ain't the main drug that he was on.
What was on that lean?
The main drug he was on was pussy. Main drug.
That's even worse. That's the worst.
Weird and made him feel like he's King Kong.
Oh, okay.
Because he was up there talking about some, I handle my business and take care of what I take care of, and you got these other dudes out here that just want to listen like that's that woman he deal with talking through him.
Yeah,
that's that
anger man. You forgot one point. You forgot one point. He was real proud to order them bunk bags too.
Oh yeah. I know, like
bunk beds, nigga.
And nigga said he got him a couple sets of bunk beds, goddamn.
Yeah. But he said he was Manosphere 3.0.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah, I missed that part.
Did he not, Valdez?
Yeah, he said that shit. He said I had to get early today. I got an invitation from King Sigma. And he was doing a live stream. They was talking about 2.0, 3.0. And Reg had went over there and told everybody that I said that I was 3.0.
What? Okay.
Some more shit. And I had to get on there and straighten the shit out. I said, bruh. I said, look, I've been said that I was Manosphere 2.0. And the way I understood it, that's just a way to classify the different classes, you know what I'm saying? The different time frames that guys came into this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I thought you said, like, man, he is one of the most misquoting and Like he just be. I said, yo, if you was this is what I told him on there. I said, if Reg was a newspaper, he would always be printing retractions.
Mm-hmm. Why would King Sigma listen to Reg out of all people?
Well, Reg did a video about it, and Sigma did his live stream to clear it up because Sigma knew what he knew what my standpoint was.
Mm-hmm.
So Sigma was up there, Complex was up there, a couple other guys was up there.
Mm-hmm.
So to get the shit cleared up was
Mm-hmm.
goofy.
Yeah, that's why Man Tomorrow came in on my stream. I said, y'all need to tighten this stuff up, okay? Because you letting people claim that they're with you, but you're not policing them. Well, I can't police everybody. That's your job, man.
Yeah, if you have a group or you have something that people are claiming, if they claiming it, you definitely got to say something to them if they not following the code, because they representing you.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's running around here talking about me, and they don't even realize what I did last summer is what you're supposed to do. If you got people that's a part of your group and they're claiming the same name as you and they're not operating right, you got to address them. And if they don't want to tighten up, you got to boot them out the group.
Got to boot them out the group. Yeah.
Separate yourself for sure.
Yeah. Because
like I'm trying to from those
Not
idiots
anger,
earlier.
man.
One time.
Not anger, man.
Hold
How
on,
does that?
hold on, Michael. Go ahead on those.
Oh, hey, yeah. There was one other question I had. It's kind of about the whole current situation we have with the economy on a downturn, and I don't want to sound
That's what you call it.
on a full halt. We're chugging along. I don't know the right way to call it, but moving into recession or depression. But I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything, but like with like.
I've heard them all. Let's hear it, man.
The whole idea of like your birth certificate making you a property of like the state or like the U.S.
I know what it's called.
Basically you are.
So can they sell, like, especially with all the debts that a lot of students have, and like, could they literally sell like people as like collateral or like?
Okay, this is the way it works. Okay. Each country has this is actually more for international debt, not local, not what's called domestic debt. Okay. In other words, your ability to borrow is based on your population or what your population can produce. China does the same. China does it. Russia does it. England does it. France does it. Okay. In other words, when people want to borrow your money or lend you money, they say what kind of resources that you have, not only natural but also human. So they count your birth certificate as population because that's what they base their future debt on, their future earnings on. Okay, so in a sense, they do own you, in a sense.
Yeah, the best resource is people.
It's people. That's how they count how much you're worth. That's like the Romans used to do the same thing. They used to take census, say how many people they have, because that is your labor pool. If there are no people, there's no economy.
Well, BGS, I got a basic question on that, and the reason why, because it's kind of rhetorical, because this was a conversation I had with someone a few years back. If they're going to base it on that, on birth certificates, U.S. birth certificates,
yeah,
all right. So, what would be and I know what would be the purpose of having the census if the federal government already know or got the amount of birth certificates?
Because people do what? People move, they die. There's a lot of reason you take a census, because you want to know where people are. How do they form families? Okay, how old they are, whether they're sick, all kinds of stuff. Reason to take a census, right? Since it's not about how many people you have, you can find that out by how many people are born. They don't need a census for that.
Right. And so the birth certificate just for who all are citizens, but not who all are there.
Yeah, pretty much. How many people are born, and that varies. But the thing is, they know within a certain amount variance about. But they actually know how many people leave because to leave, you have to do what? Have a visa or something else to go someplace else, right? They track you.
But see, this goes back to that argument that I had with you know who about people being dominated and shit.
Oh yeah.
No, I wasn't going there.
Any country that you live in, you're, I guess the word would be held accountable
Mm-hmm.
to that country because you're a citizen of that country.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand why people, you know, kind of freak out about the Social Security thing and the birth certificate thing. Because this is why they ask you, like, if you've ever filled out an application for a gun permit or something like that, they'll ask you, have you ever renounced your country before?
Exactly. And yes, exactly.
So that's why there's a lot of guys, you know, back a couple years ago, there were a lot of guys that were here in Raleigh. They were saying, oh, well, you guys need to understand what your problem is you need to be a sovereign citizen or whatever. And I remember I got into a debate with a dude. I said, man, look, because he was talking to some young bucks and they was listening to that shit. And I said, man, you need to be careful about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, why? I was like, man, you have a certain amount of rights in this damn country. You keep fucking around with them Negroes, you're gonna give up your rights.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna be looking crazy in the face when they fucking detain your ass and they don't gotta fucking give you due process because you didn't claim that sovereignty or some dumb shit.
Now, let me ask you.
No nation on the planet recognizes sovereignty as a nation. So you would just be detained for nothing.
Yeah.
Basically, people. Let me ask you, Anonymous. Okay, I'm gonna put you as a leader of the United States. How would you run it?
Like right now?
Yeah. I mean, in general, how would you?
I actually think with the situation we're facing right now, well,
no, I'm talking about not under crisis. As how would you organize this society? How would you do it?
I think I don't know the whole concept of like nation building, like it's a whole concept.
Nation building.
Like, I think the people definitely need to be united, brought together to like have like front. I think we could use our military more domestically to help improve.
No. How would you organize the citizens inside the people inside this landmass we call the United States? How would you organize them?
How would I organize the people?
Yeah. You want to be sovereign citizens.
Right now we need infrastructure.
We have infrastructure. How would you organize the people?
How would I organize the people?
And how would you set up the system of governance, or would you govern people?
I don't think I have the answer just because I haven't put the thought into it.
You have to. You're asking me about sovereign citizenship and birth certificates, and you don't know how the system runs and why it runs that way.
Right.
Okay. There's a reason that it does. It has to do with financial and planning, and basically, you probably have more rights in the United States than probably any place on the globe. Try China. Try Singapore. Try Japan.
You literally are the United States of America.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
I was going to say the United States of America is literally running the best that they can do.
Okay.
Are there hiccups? Yes. Are you gonna make everybody happy? No.
So let me ask you a question. So say you have like 30% of people want to be sovereign citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you let them go?
No, you wouldn't want to let them go.
Why?
Because 30% is a huge chunk to lose.
I mean, they're not going to. They're actually going to say we don't belong to the United States, and we're going to make up our own laws. Would you allow that?
Hell no.
Nah.
Don't kick the chair, Valdez.
Sovereign citizen is
you
a
don't ask me cool questions like that
in and of itself.
Well, because I know you fucking know.
I got a hell of an answer for that shit.
I know you do.
It goes something similar to
Negro, don't kick the chair. Don't kick the chair. You're kicking the chair, Valdez.
How does sovereign citizen?
Y'all kicking the chair. I want to
BGS.
BGS, you telling the dude that's ready to push the button not to kick the chair?
I'm asking him not to kick the chair. I can't tell him to do shit.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
There's two niggas on YouTube you can't tell to do shit. Him and Grinch.
That's it. That's
You,
it.
you can put in your request, but you ain't tell them to do shit.
my question was about like would that actually be a possibility?
But you haven't answered my question. What would you do?
What would I do about 30%?
Yeah, they didn't want to follow the. I'm not a citizen, so I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to. I'm not a citizen.
Well, you know, and on one instance, you can't make them do anything, right?
Really.
They don't want to be on your land. Get them out of there.
You're gonna put them in prison. What are you gonna do with them? Like
kick them out.
Like, you're gonna kick them out? Yeah. Exile them?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, they don't have to be part of this nation, but they can't be in this territory. Basically.
Would you let them be here? I'm asking you a question. You can do what you want.
If there was a space that they could be there without disrupting our what's going on.
Hold on. What
Montana or something?
Can you do math?
Yeah.
What's 30% of 330 million?
330 million.
What's 30%?
Something like 33 million. Like,
oh yeah. Oh God. It's 100 million, dude. It's a third. All right, 100 million. I'll give you the answer. What are you gonna do with 100 million people that don't want to do what you want? They'll follow the rules. What are you gonna do with them?
I don't know. Okay. I wouldn't know what to do. You can't kill them. I'm not gonna kill them. So like, I guess.
All right. In other words, you need to think about it.
So you would open up your borders to bring people who want to be here and let them out.
Oh God! All right, go ahead, Michael. You need to think about it, man. You ain't thought about it. Go ahead, Michael.
Let me help you with something that Angry Man probably gave me a black pill on, and this was something I had was kind of dealing with the moral fabric of America. When you think of racism, most of y'all think that shit is wrong and bad. But when Angry Man and Brooks said this one word, it broke it down so simple for me. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't see it. It's right in front of my face the whole time. Mm-hmm. Racism in America is nothing but tribalism. Mm-hmm. That's it. What they are doing to you or anybody else in this country is right. Because why? They are in power. And they are doing everything they can to maintain that power. Same way if he was in China right now. If you was in China and you got to control 1.3 billion people, niggas ain't gonna get to vote how they want to vote.
Yeah, that's like when I did the stream a couple of weeks ago, and I asked everybody a couple months ago. I asked everybody the question. I said, "What's the biggest problem facing black people in America?" And it was like racism. I said, "What's the biggest problem facing white people in America?" Same answer, racism. And the reason why is because black people are trying to avoid dealing with the effects of racism as it's being levied against them. And white people have to figure out how to run the country without being fucking racist. Mm-hmm. At the end of the fucking day, but how do you do that as a person? How do you do that when your entire culture has been a racist culture? Mm-hmm. And you benefit from that? So how do you if we were in charge, if we were black people, if we as black people were in charge, if everything was reversed, kind of like that movie The White Man's Burden with John Travolta and Harry Belafonte. Mm-hmm. If it was reversed, would we be that benevolent? Like, how would you say to yourself as a black man, okay, me being a black man gives me all sorts of privileges and shit, and I'm gonna tell every other black man, hey man, let's give up all our privileges so that white people can have just as much as us. You wouldn't think like that if
we already know, because look what happens on the continent. They don't.
And Ingerman, you made a good point when you was talking. I can't remember the name of the play.
Well,
Othello.
What was the name? The name of the play where you talked about where that black dude smacked that white slave?
Othello.
Othello, and you said them niggas is probably low key mad because we did that shit first to them. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably it.
We rule, we rule Spain. We rule parts of Europe for like 700 fucking years, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we were walking around, slapping the taste out of people's mouths and shit.
Yeah.
Man, you know we was getting busy.
And listen, and the only reason I believe you is because when BGS dropped that article about that Nigerian in the Wall Street Journal talking about them niggas was just grabbing us up and selling us because they couldn't even stand a nigga down the block. You know what I mean? They couldn't stand to travel across the river. I said, man, them niggas back in there was savage, dog. Them niggas was ruthless, boy. Shit, they didn't give a fuck. Dudes didn't give a fuck.
The nigga right now. There's a nigga right now standing on his porch, looking across the street, talking about, man, I can't stand that nigga Pookie over there. If he could put that nigga in chains, he'd do it right now. Like, look, niggas don't want to admit this shit. Niggas do not want to admit this shit. But the reality is, in history, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. Okay?
Yep.
The reason why we feel the way we feel, because right at this moment in history, we have been on the losing side of history. You feel what I'm saying? This is why white people fight so hard to keep their power, because they're not trying to repeat history when they didn't have power, when they were fucking starving and couldn't get any fucking food and shit, and had to live in, you know, in basically fucking wilderness and shit. Meanwhile, black people in Africa with an abundance of shit. You feel what I'm saying? So they look, to answer that question, because I want to answer the damn question, damn it. If you got 100 million people that's saying that they live in your country, but they're saying, you know what, I shouldn't have to follow the rules of this country. You can't take that group of people and put them all in one place and just hope that they'll, you know, behave themselves, because you're going to mess around and have an insurrection on your hand. If anything, the first thing you want to do is disperse that group of people to make sure that they can't,
or not let it grow that big in the first place.
Exactly. And you can do that one of two ways. You can do it by, I mean, you ain't got to do it the same thing to all of them. Some of them you can offer them things that's going to make them want to remain citizens of your country, some benefit or something.
Yeah.
You know, the other ones, you know, you can lock them up on some trumped up charges and shit.
Yeah, you gotta remember. They actually tried that, like they called it 1861. It's called the Civil War.
Yeah.
Well, BGS, you know, Angry Man's telling the truth. And the reason we can co-sign that is, let's look at China. Now now China had let Hong Kong be a democracy.
They didn't let them be that way. They were forced.
Well, no, what I'm saying, I know, but what I'm saying is they allowed them to do that, and they were going to bring them back into the fold. They had all them cameras up in there showing all these protests, right?
Okay.
So that's how comes.
Okay, in Hong Kong, when the British gave Hong Kong back to the Chinese, right? There was actually a stipulation of a period of transition of 30 years.
No, right.
From 1997 to 30 years? I think 2027, right?
Okay.
There's a slow transition, actually transition Hong Kong back into mainland China. Okay, so it's not the Chinese wanted to do it. The thing is that's the treaty that they signed with the British.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
No,
well, go ahead.
Okay. So, but what I'm saying is that China wasn't gonna let them just do what they want to do. When they bring them back into the fold, them people not gonna be able to do what they were used to be doing. You follow me? Meaning you finna get folded up into China and do things the way we do things, whether you like it or not. So for all these brothers right here talking about they want to be sovereign citizens, cool. We got something for that. they got something for that. That's why do you think them cops, when y'all watching them First Amendment audit videos, them cops be like, you calling yourself a sovereign citizen?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying you a sovereign citizen? Because they want you to say you a sovereign citizen because they can fuck your ass up. Same way them children was being taken at that border. You ain't got no rights, man.
Yeah, you ain't got no rights. Basically, there's no way you cannot renounce your rights. So basically, as much as cops would love to say you're a sovereign citizen, basically putting you in a holding cell without any rights, they can't do it because you cannot
Yeah.
renounce your right.
Mhm.
You cannot legally. The only way you can actually renounce your right is be in another country, get another citizenship, and basically then you can actually renounce your American citizenship. You have to have someplace else to take you. If you're inside the United States, born here as a citizen of the United States, they have to take you. They can't renounce your rights, and you can't renounce your rights as long as you're here without somebody else taking you.
Not
So
long as you got a social security number, social security card, birth certificate, United States.
okay. So say that you're a sovereign citizen, right? And you decide to fly to Singapore, okay? And you get in trouble in Singapore, okay? They after you get out of Singapore jail, they got to ship you back because Singapore's not going to take you. Or you say, I want to be a citizen of Nigeria, okay? Nigeria says no. They have to ship you back. America's got to take you. They don't have a choice. Like those people who get sick overseas in another country, America's got to take them back because those are American citizens. You can't renounce your citizenship, and they can't either.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you were born on the you look. Here's the thing, like with that whole thing, you can't have people in your and look. I'm gonna say this shit because it is what it is. People ain't gonna like it, but
just say it, man. Don't pussyfoot around. Just
if
say
if I was running the country, my opinion, I think America gives Americans too much fucking freedom.
They do. Yeah, they're liberal. It's a
Like,
liberal
right now.
Like
Right
I
now,
would run this country, like I would have like all of the schools would be military schools. That's what I would do.
Mm.
And the only reason why I would do that is because is as big as America is, it's not huge, but it's big enough to where you got to be able to have some measure of control.
Mhm.
Because with the way it is now, like you look at all of the freedoms that everybody has, it's run amok.
As a military man, I agree with that myself. As a military man, I definitely agree with that. Especially for the boys, I would make it mandatory for all the boys.
Yeah, because you can't have a group of people just all of a sudden decide, you know what? And that's why like a lot of pro blacks, they don't really understand that. Like you can't be inside of America and think that you're going to create some sort of nation inside of America because they're going to be dead set against that.
They never allow it. As much as desirable as that may seem or look to be,
is unrealistic.
They would never allow that.
It's not even just America. No country would allow it.
You can't allow it.
And the alternative
one at a time.
The alternative to that was like a while back, there was a bunch of Hotep Negroes talking about well, what we should do is we should buy an island. And I told them, I said, yo, I tell you what, when y'all buy that island, I won't be carrying my black ass to that island with y'all.
Mm-mm.
And the reason why is because why the hell? So all of a sudden you get an island and every Negro in America decides we're going to go to that island. They're going to wait till you get to that damn island and you all in one place. See, that's the other thing. Black people don't realize how integration, it's a downside to integration where we don't have all of our own shit, but there's an upside to it too. We're mixed into the population.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bonus.
Which is natural. It's called admixture.
Yeah, that's a bonus. And the only reason it's a bonus, not because you get to be around white people, but because if they do something to the population, it's gonna affect them too.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask a question. Okay, go ahead. Perfect block. Go ahead.
No, it's and I have my differences with integration, but I see exactly what Angry Man is talking about in terms of because what that has done. I mean, you create you put a lot of this, for lack of a better term, you put the enemy right into your wheelhouse.
Well, okay, let's okay. Why were we separate in the first place?
Who are you asking that to? To me?
You, yeah. Why were we separate in the first place?
Why are we separate?
Why were we separate from white people in the first place?
I'm not advocating for that, but I
No,
would
not that.
say
That's not the question, sir. Why were there two separate classes in the first place? What brought that
that was
about?
something that's something you got to talk to white folks because they're the ones who
In other
created
words, it's by
classification
statute, right? They prevented.
by force of law,
They,
by act of
they,
law.
exactly. It's not a natural process for it to be separate. The natural process is admixture, that which they prevented for 200 years.
That's true. Otherwise, Mother Nature would have created
It-
different tools for different races. In
so,
other words,
so
you know,
once,
black,
so once you lift the restriction, guess what's going to happen?
it's going to be admixture. So that's
Admixture.
natural. That's
Which
a natural.
we call it integration. Okay.
Yeah, and that
When I said I had my problems with integration, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about other things. But Anger Man is right, in that you're not going to be able to do total separation. That's not feasible.
Nobody's making you integrate.
yeah.
White
That's
people don't.
just
White
happening.
people don't come down here and drag you off. Well, let me ask you a question. The Native Americans actually did. They went to the villages and stole the kids, right, and forced them down to go to the school. Amongst black people, nobody makes you go to the white school or go to the white neighborhood or go to white stores.
No, you're right.
It's a natural.
Now, when you saying talking about going to schools and all that, you're right. I mean, we do have a choice to send our kids to more black schools, but in terms of actually mixing with them and all of that, yeah, it may be a natural thing because of the pipes work together.
What I'm saying is, well, say, do white men force black women to marry them or be with them?
No more than black men force white women to be with them.
And so, in other words, they're not forcing you to admix.
See, that's the other thing that's the other thing that is a huge problem too, that nobody wants to acknowledge. Like, at the end of the day, people are people.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have their own little freaking religions, their own freaking backgrounds, and their own cultures and shit like that. But if you take a bunch of people that come from different walks of life, different background, and you put them all on the same damn continent, eventually
they're gonna mix.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because we have more in common than we don't have in common.
Yeah, biology is going to make you mix. You were mixing before. Basically, you're already mixed. Basically, you have a lot of the slave masters' blood in your blood already. You're already mixed.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, but see, now you can't tell that to the white supremacists. You can't tell it to them.
He knows it.
He knows that.
He doesn't care. He doesn't want to mix.
He doesn't. He has black blood in him. Where they freak out.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Let me pull it up.
That doesn't mean any different. He doesn't want to mix.
The thing is, if the white man could, if that dude could have stopped anything, he would have. He can't stop that shit.
Let me tell you something about that shit, okay? Because I remember being a kid in the freaking 80s. The world looked very different than it does now. Nowadays, you go to the grocery store, everywhere you look, you see white grandparents with a black grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask a basic question. I want to ask a fundamental basic question.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the power? I'm not talking about what's written into the damn laws. Who has the power to prevent the mixing more so than others?
Nope.
They had the power. Even when they had the power, you were still mixing, dude.
Nobody has the power to do that.
Yeah.
All right. How many white men or women did black people hang from trees for race mixing?
It doesn't matter. Okay, that doesn't matter, dude.
I'm asking right there. That's the point that I'm asking.
It doesn't matter.
Actual power.
Perfect blackness. It doesn't matter.
But that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if they had the power, if all of those tactics that they used to stop it actually worked, we would
work for a long time.
Now.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. You're still mixing. There's a
Okay, maybe I'm looking at to what level are we talking about? Because when I read my history of certain periods of time,
Mhm.
yeah, we black men or women wasn't saying, I just love this person, doesn't matter the color. No, you controlled who you love.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Am I right about that?
Let me
Am I
ask you.
right about that we controlled? I'm not, and again, I don't want to give out the wrong impression. I'm not advocating for one, but I'm just looking
What's
at
your point? What's your point, man? What's your point? Make your point.
Nobody ever. But here's the thing, though. You're talking about history. Okay, look. First of all, the same way, like prime example. What was the first? Let me ask you this, Perfect Blackness. What was the first movie that you saw that was a representation of slavery?
the first movie that I saw that was a representation of slavery. I'm a Gen Xer, so that was Roots.
Roots. Okay. Roots was bullshit.
Yes, it was.
So
But I didn't learn that until
you gotta
later.
understand.
Remember Chicken George?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Okay. Who was Chicken George's daddy?
Oh shit.
The slave master.
Yes, it was a slave master, but I was really, really thinking about
So
that.
look, you gotta understand, like, look, what you gotta understand is the very thing that you're talking about, which is them trying to control, them trying to keep black people separate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of them trying to keep black people from mixing with white people is that sort of propaganda that makes it seem like they had more control over it than they actually did.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Well, let's back up on it. You saying so? Are you intimating that the slaves and this could be a question of ignorance, but are you saying that the slaves had just as much power?
You didn't say that.
Okay. Resume. I'm sorry. Then forgive my interruption. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is white people have this ability to make it seem as if they have more power than they actually have.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's
During
propaganda.
what periods? Because if you're talking about the periods of slavery, they had absolute power to do whatever.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Couldn't stop other white people from making mixed babies.
They didn't have absolute power during slavery, because if they had absolute power during slavery, there wouldn't be slave insurrections. They wouldn't have lost countless slaves from them rebelling and fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said that propaganda, like if you look at Roots, it looks like they had absolute power because there was only one nigga that was trying to run away.
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote all the laws during those times?
It does. Okay. It does.
Now he said absolute power.
No, in other words, what is
absolute power and then try to
what does absolute power mean?
He said it. I didn't say it.
No. You're actually define
power. You mean
perfect blackness. Okay. Perfect blackness. Listen instead of talking through me, okay? I'm asking you a question. What does absolute power mean to you?
Okay. For me, absolute power is not only the power to be able to define the reality, to define what is and what isn't, but to write the laws, to say what can and can't be, and to be able to enforce. So basically, to be the social, economic, financial judge, jury, and executioner.
Is it so? Absolute power, is that complete or?
And black people in America has never had that.
I didn't say we didn't say that they did, but we're saying neither did white people.
White people have never had absolute power. They've had power, but they haven't had absolute power. When you say absolute power, you're talking about the ability to have complete control over everything. And you can't use that in reference to laws because laws change.
And even you can pass a law.
Slavery? Can we explain slavery?
Dude, that had nothing to do with
the only thing that white people have complete control over, the only tool that they had ever had complete control over was the propaganda machine. Because they knew if they can make an example out of a small group of you and spread that like they would do that to all of you. That's how they captivate.
Let me ask Perfect Blackness this. Let me ask you this, Perfect Blackness. let's say for argument's sake that you have absolute power right now at this moment, right? And I don't have absolute power. I'm actually in a weakened position. Are you afraid of me?
If wait a minute.
If you have absolute power and I have no power, do you fear me? Would you fear me in that scenario?
If I had the absolute power the way that I just said it, I would probably wouldn't have too much fear of you know.
Okay. Ever since black people have been in this country, white folks have been afraid of them. So how
That's true. I'm not going to argue. You're absolutely right on that. Yes.
So how can you have absolute power if you're afraid of what you have absolute power over?
Okay. What?
Some would even argue it's not even power.
Okay. Can I answer it?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. What you are describing there is more of a conceptual fear versus a realistic fear.
That's not a conceptual fear.
He actually defined it for you, and you actually answered it. So you had to go with the premise, not go around it.
Okay, yeah. In that case, then based on what you guys are saying, then as much as I don't because I'm not a Kanye West fan. I think he's kind of delusional, but
it had nothing to do with it.
Yes. Okay, but to what you're saying again,
is that not the
answer? One thing about knowledge that I like, I'd rather approach it ignorant. And if I'm ignorant about something, I have no embarrassment about it.
Perfect Blackness, answer the question, please.
I thought I did answer this question.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You're getting ready to go into what Kanye said. Go into that, and I'll break that shit down.
No. We answer the question first, and then go on what Kanye said. Because you're avoiding the answer. Answer the question.
I thought I did answer his question.
No, you did. Yeah, ask the question again, Valdez.
If you have absolute power. If you have absolute power and I have no power, would you fear me in that scenario?
And I told you no based upon that because what you I know I said no. I said no because based on what that is, yeah, no, I wouldn't be afraid of that. If I had all the power, of course I wouldn't.
Then basically under that scenario, basic conversation is over as far as that's concerned.
Okay, and that's the reason why I came back with because again. BGS, I did answer the question, and that's why I came back with that. That's the difference between the conceptual power versus actual power.
Okay, give me the definition.
The conceptual. We keep redefining this stuff, but either defining it or don't.
Give me the definite. See,
can I get credit at least answering the question because I did answer. You may not
answer it.
Okay, you did answer it. Here's the thing, though. You're saying conceptual power over.
You sound like you went to a feminist school, man, because that's what they do.
Actually,
that's what they say.
What you're doing is you're assigning special rules to white people that gives them power. You're assigning special rules to them, and there are no special rules to them. They are not a special group of people. They're doing the same shit that other groups of people have done.
Exactly. Yeah.
So slavery was nothing more than for lack of a better term, propaganda.
No, slavery.
What? Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. Wait, hold on. Stop, Valdez. Where did you get that from?
Because I'm trying to understand. I really am trying to understand because from my reading of history, white people during that time had all the power. Black people couldn't do nothing.
It's not absolute. It's not absolute.
See, this is hold on. This is where the problem is. The problem is who educated you?
The same people who educated you.
Which is who?
White people.
Exactly.
White people.
That's propaganda.
So guess what? You could take a baby elephant and you could tie a baby elephant to a fucking stake in the ground. And that baby elephant will try to pull away from that stake and won't be able to do it. Now, after a while, he gives up. Mm-hmm. And then he becomes a fully grown adult and he could pull down the whole fucking tent if he wanted to, but he doesn't even try because psychologically he believes he's powerless.
Mm-hmm.
White people do not have the power that you think they have. They have the ability to psychologically manipulate people. That's their best ability.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said that. That's hold on a second. That's why I said.
For today's Black Americans, Valdez, you are absolutely right. For today's Black Americans, yes. But during the times of slavery, no, that stake wasn't an actual. It wasn't identified tied to a.
Okay. No, hold on.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Let me have this one, Valdez. Let me have this one.
Let me get him real quick. Let me get him.
Go ahead.
This is what you're not
because we actually run out of time. But yeah, go ahead.
You missed my analogy, bro. During slavery, we were the baby elephant. Now we're the grown elephant. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what I just said. For today's Black Americans, that is absolutely
but it's still psychological programming. It's still because listen, the only reason that they were able to do a lot of shit is because of the fucking gun, okay? And because of the circumstances and how it was. First of all, when you go back to the history, you got to understand that they wasn't even able to take Africans.
No.
So that's not power. That's not power. That's just like if somebody was to come by your house, right? And you were to give them your child, and then they took your child to their house and abused that child. They don't really have power over that child per se. That shit is circumstantial. You understand? Because eventually that child can get into a position where they can get away from that, or they can change those circumstances. That's why I said it's not absolute power.
Okay. Look, when it comes to Black Americans today, I totally agree with you. But we're talking about slavery times.
Okay.
You didn't get it.
Let me explain it, man. Okay. If 91% of the American slaves were actually bred and born here, if you're born into something, guess what you are actually socialized into being?
Whatever they want.
And whatever they want. So basically, it was even worse back then because that's all they knew. You're actually freer now than you were then.
And even when they
I've never argued. That's never.
But that will actually close down that argument that you're trying to make, because that's what they did.
My argument is that during the times of slavery, white people they had absolute power back then.
No, they did not. Stop.
Okay, all right, then I'm wrong. Then I'm wrong.
So in other words, just like the baby elephant, if you're born into something and that's all that you know, basically they're using the propaganda on you, right? Because that's all you know.
BJ,
you're not gonna fight back.
Yes, here's the thing: the very proof against the absolute power is the fact that they actually bred and programmed Black people to be slaves, and they still revolted.
And they still revolted.
Fought back. They still ran away. That's not absolute power. Absolute power is if you were able to control them and they just operated like robots.
Yeah.
Then explain. Okay, no, you guys are right. I'll be quiet.
You feel me? I would see if you're saying power, okay. They had power because of the circumstances, but not absolute power.
They had absolute power because of the circumstances.
Yeah, the Japanese had more absolute power over their own subjects than the white people have over slaves.
Yeah. Like right now, the fucking North Koreans got more power over their subjects than white people had over slaves.
Because it's voluntary, and that's what they know, and they just tell them to do something, and they do it.
Well, okay. Granted, I'll accept that, and I'll just say to that. Then we're talking about two different concepts of absolute power.
We're trying to figure out
what. In that case, then I'm wrong. I thought that I'm wrong.
In other words, we're trying to figure out what you're talking about, because we don't understand what you're talking about.
Are you trying to say white people had more influence?
Wait a minute.
You're talking about power. Yeah.
That was.
I know you're saying power.
You just said You just said we're talking about two different versions of absolute power.
There's no such thing as
The definition of absolute power is different. The way he sees the definition of absolute power, he's looking at the word differently. So he's not falling on the same plane at all.
Okay. When you're in a group discussion, you're gonna have to find some common ground of definition. You just cannot make them up willy nilly. Okay.
No, BJ, I'm not making anything up willy nilly. I don't. I just see it differently. Just because I see it differently doesn't mean I'm just making it up.
What does the word?
That's
Perfect. Hush for a second. Hush for a second. What does the word absolute mean? What does it mean?
You're talking about absolute. You're talking about absolution.
No, the word absolute. In fact,
I don't have the full definition. I don't
go look it up.
I'm not a dictionary. I know what the word means. I'm very well read on that. I don't have the actual word for word.
What is
perfect?
Of course, I can go look it up.
Look it up.
Because I know what the word means.
Well, what does it mean?
Perfect blackness. Perfect. Let me ask a question. Perfect blackness. Perfect blackness. Quick question. Do parents?
Michael, hold on a second.
I think I'm being mustard, but okay.
What does the word absolute mean?
You're asking me to go to a dictionary.
No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking what do you think it means?
What does it mean, BJ?
No. You're not gonna get out of that one. What does it mean?
Because I'm going to be ignorant.
No. What does it mean?
I have a good understanding of what the word absolution means.
What does it mean to you? Absolute. When we say absolute, what does that mean?
The word that comes to mind, and I know you're going to do it, but the word that comes to mind is total.
Yep. Complete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whole.
Exactly.
I don't have a Webster's in front of me.
So
I don't normally have a Webster.
Let's stop talking for a second. So when you say total, whole, complete, is there any wiggle room? We said whole, total, complete. Is there any wiggle room?
No. I would surmise not.
In other words, absolute power means there is no wiggle room, right?
That would also, but it would also. It would also depend on what follows the word absolute.
Absolute means absolute. That's what it means.
Yeah, but absolute.
You know what?
No wiggle room. You just said it.
Like you wouldn't even be having a disagreement with me if you just said.
Man, I really don't have a disagreement with you. I'm talking about different lane, and you're talking about different. But okay,
You do not have the right to make up words in an argument. The definition is the definition. You gave three.
A word.
In other words, you cannot change the meaning of a word. Complete, total, absolute. Basically, that means there is no wiggle room. It means 100%. If you have 99.99999 something, that's not 100%. That's not total.
That's like saying parents have absolute power over their children.
Okay, can I ask a question here?
Hold on a second, man.
Absolute.
No. Michael's talking.
That's like saying parents have absolute control over their children. They do not. The mere fact that if I tell my child, don't touch them cookies, and then that child still goes over there and touches them cookies, that means I don't have absolute control over that individual. Like the angry man said, the fact that they were born into it to be a thing and only that thing, and that you have the audacity, the gumption, the wherewithal to fucking fight back or escape from the thing that you were made for, means that they don't have total control over you.
Yeah, it negates it.
It negates it. That means free will has negated absolute power.
Because nobody has this will go even into, this could be even brought into a theological, philosophical question, because no human being can be under the absolute control of anybody. Because
here's a great thought, Angry Man.
Let Angry Man finish.
Because human beings have free will.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when you talk about, when you start going into the philosophical part of it, that was if you remember the movie Constantine, Gabriel, I think it was either Gabriel was arguing with Constantine and was saying that no other creature in the universe can brag or proclaim free will except man.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, see, what you got to realize is the school system that we were taught in and the propaganda machine that was churned out here in America was meant to teach Black people that they weren't men, that they weren't people.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the propaganda. It's to give the illusion that they have absolute control over you because you're just a beast of burden. You're not a man. So it's not just a question of the definition of it. It even goes into the philosophical. Like to say, if you said, okay, white people had power over Black people during slavery, I say, yeah, you're right. But absolute power? No, that's a misnomer.
Because let's take it from the same thing, anger man, from the philosophical or even the spiritual. Not even God can tell you what to do.
Exactly.
Because you doing whatever the fuck you want to do now.
Exactly. Exactly.
So if God of all gods can't control your ass, how the hell white people got absolute power over your ass? It's not possible.
Can't tell you nothing.
They would tell you that. They don't have absolute power.
Yeah, they tried. They tried desperately. But
yeah, what I'm saying is,
Let me check.
when was I mean, I try not to let that come out. I don't like people using wrong terms and absolutely wrong terms, and I know it's wrong.
But see, I've been noticing that. I've been noticing that a lot. In a lot of and unfortunately, that's what causes a lot of the disagreements in discussions and debates.
Mm-hmm.
Is when people will take the definition of something
mm-hmm.
and skew the definition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you skew the definition, then it kind of makes the entire discussion pointless.
Yeah. You got to have some kind of common ground to actually have a discussion, because if nobody knows the meaning of anything, then there's no reference. There's nothing to argue about, because it could be anything.
Yeah, because that's the point. That's the point of the debate. If I say something in a debate and you don't challenge or question the thing that I introduced, then that means that it's true, and that's not real. That is not the truth, right? I can just say the sky is purple, and then we got to talk about these geopolitics. In the debate, the person who's watching the debate will go, okay, well, the sky's purple. The other guy did not contradict that or say that it was wrong.
Yeah. And
so you just can't state things as a matter of fact. Yeah.
And for like 2 years, we've been talking about this stuff for like the last 2 years, man. Come on.
Well, let me ask you a question.
If I'm gonna put out the information, look at it. If I'm gonna put out the book, at least glance at it.
But see, it goes back to the myth and the major problem with Black people, in my opinion. Black people they truly believe that white people are a special case.
Mm-hmm. They're God.
They truly believe that white people are infallible and they're too smart or too powerful to lose. Mm-hmm. And you're literally watching them lose right now.
Mm-hmm. But Black people don't believe it. Go ahead, Michael.
No, I had a countryman, old white man, back in the day tell me this. And this is why you see such an effort to hold you, specifically you, while they allow other demographics, even the immigrant Blacks, to come over here and do stuff. Why would you specifically hold one individual group down?
Mm-hmm.
It's too much effort to hold down what are we, 8% of the population?
Talking about Black men?
Black men? What are we, not even that?
About 6% of the population.
About 6. You telling me you would do all these rules and laws and efforts to hold down 6% of the population if you didn't think them jokers was about something? Come on, man.
Why would you? But why would you do all of that if you have absolute control over them already?
Yeah.
Why there's so many things in place and so many little sneaky underhanded things? Why would you have to do all of this? Like people misunderstand the concept of fear and control and things. Most of the time people try to control something because they fear it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, so when you look at white people throughout history in this country, they've operated the way they've operated off of fear. There's a few that will admit it, but they fear. Like somebody told me, like, I forgot who said that shit, but they was like, back in the day during slavery, like you would have black people in their little huts or whatever. The slaves would be in their huts fucking beating drums and shit. The white people was fucking terrified, wondering was that the day they was gonna fucking revolt and kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, and even back during the South, the reason they had the 3/5 rule, because 3/5 of the South was actually black people. They're terrified of a slave revolt. Well, outnumbered.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember I was watching this one documentary on I forgot what channel it was, but the slaves had these little huts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They would go in the huts and they would have meetings and shit to figure out how to escape. And the slave master would get wind of it, because one of the slaves would tell him,
Mm-hmm.
and then the slave master would find out which hut they was having a meeting in, and the slave masters would run in that hut to try to catch them having a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nobody in the hut. They would close the damn door and put something in front of it and set the bitch on fire. That's not somebody you got control over.
Mm-hmm.
The natural progression. If whites had just allowed blacks just to assimilate, if you look at Brazil or look at Colombia, that's the natural progression of what would happen. Meaning the climate would pretty much predict where you're gonna be at. Like if you go to Colombia, I think it's where Cali is and by the shore, you got a lot more black people. But when you get close to that mountain region, you have the lighter skin, brown skin, Hispanics.
Yeah,
just because of the skin and the climate. That's it.
And basically, it was really after emancipation where they actually had to import more white people to balance things out.
Yeah, they did. That's when they got rid of the Italian being some nigga, and the Jew and then the Scottish. All the motherfuckers hated each other, man. Shit.
So they had to really repress you and import more white people.
Yep. The issue of race. People think white people made the classification of race for your ass. They partly did that. They did it mainly for them because they had so many groups of white people that they had to solidify. Them white Scottish and the Englands, they hated. What you think Braveheart was about? Them niggas hated each other.
Hell yeah,
they had to give them a commonality, a common goal of unification.
Yeah, this stuff is far more complicated than you actually think. You guys make it sound like it's too simple, and it's not.
Because it is broken down to just a black and white thing, and it's not that. It's a tribal thing. It's a tribal thing. You got multiple tribes. Like even to this day, like I was watching an episode of fucking Entourage when Ari's wife, him and they split up, and his wife started dating Bobby Flay. Came in there and he's like, "What do you think you're doing with him?" And she's like, "He's a nice man." He's like, "No, he's not. He's a genetic mistake. He's a redheaded fire crotch." What do you think that is? That's some racist shit.
Yeah.
That's some, but it's really some tribal shit because his red hair signifies that he's probably of Irish descent or Scottish descent or something like that, which is separate from what Ari was, which Ari is, Jewish or whatever. They don't like each other. They just will get together when it come time to go up against somebody else.
Yeah. Basically, you start forming groups, and that's where socialization actually comes in. They had to teach these so-called white people, which they weren't white until they actually made it a class of people. They had to teach them actually come in and socialize. Otherwise, they had to teach them not to mix with black people.
Yeah,
literally teach them. It didn't come out of nowhere. They had to literally socialize them to actually think that way.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this, so that's why I encourage people to actually read. And people get mad when I ask you, where did you get it from? What's your basis? Okay, because that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make you guys pissed off because you don't know anything and say that you're bad because you don't know anything. We want you to actually be better, actually sharpen your arguments. So, because when you go away from here, actually go someplace else, we want you to actually represent. Oh, I got this from BGS.
Mm-hmm.
If I let you go
Yeah,
like
I mean,
this, you can go out there and say, "Where'd you learn this from?" BGS. Oh, that's some bullshit. Where'd you get that from? And it'd be right.
well,
I can't
well,
let you
BJ,
guys
that's just
walk
like you.
out that way.
It's just like, yeah, that's just like you getting on my ass earlier about that the Hong Kong incident. I'm finna go brush up on that right quick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
In fact,
criticism doesn't mean nothing to me, man. Like I'm here to learn the truth
in
and
fact,
we keep it moving.
Mr. Shane Vicious actually looked it up. He says it's actually 50 years and not 30.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So I remember that because I was guess what I was doing? I was looking at when they were released in Hong Kong in 1997. I said, oh, okay. It actually talked about determined condition that the Brits actually released Hong Kong back into Chinese control. But even then, the Brits had them for. I think they said after 1947, after World War II, the Brits actually had a treaty that they would control Hong Kong from 1947 to 1997, which is 50 years, and then we're going to give a 50-year transition to be reunited with mainland China by treaty. No, he said basically 1997 to 50 years would be 2047.
I'm gonna
Your
tell you,
math is off, Jesse.
I didn't even know that about Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm. No, most people because nobody. No, who's gonna be interested in that shit except me?
But I tell you what, one thing though, I did feel like for some odd reason back in the day, I did feel like Hong Kong was considered separate from China for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know why.
Because that was the British's stronghold. Also, is actually the British banking center for Asia. So that's two reasons. That's probably why the reason that China actually agreed to actually give them a 50-year transition period. So that you have to go back and read it. But the thing is, I knew there was a transition period. Actually, how come they don't allow Hong Kong to do this and so? Because it's actually written underneath the treaty.
I tell you what.
Okay.
I tell you what. For black people in this country to be feeling like it's messed up over here, go ask them people in Hong Kong that live in them fucking coffin apartments, man.
It's normal to them. So.
That shit is crazy.
Or the ones that live on boats because there's no land to live on.
That shit is crazy. And look, I was watching. I told y'all I was rewatching Lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one episode where the Korean guy Jin, they were showing a flashback where he got a job at this this hotel.
Mm-hmm.
When he got the job and the man hired him, he asked him where he was from, and he didn't want to tell him because he was the son of like a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
And so he told him, he said, well, he said, I'm going to give you this job, but the one thing you need to understand, never allow people like you to come in.
Okay. I believe it.
And I'm sitting there watching this shit like, wow. Now, how do you explain that? You know what I'm saying? Because both of them are Korean. You feel what I'm saying? So people don't understand this is some shit that human beings do to each other. Create these class systems and shit, and it comes from the history of who did what, and like I said, the winners in history and the losers in history.
Well, this circles back around. This is the question I wanted to ask Angry Man when he talked about instituting military school if he was in charge. Great idea. Let me ask you this portion. Do you think this also be a good idea because of that thing you just talked about with human nature? Do you think if you was in total charge, would you institute, I forgot what it's called on Star Trek BGS, but it's when the Klingons were just having a discussion and then they just get to a point where they can't agree and they call that fucking battle. Like, nigga, if you believe your shit's right and I believe my shit's right, I'm willing to die for it.
Oh,
Hey,
which car? I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of that battle. But
yeah, I think we need to institute that shit too. Because a lot of these niggas really do just be thinking they'll spout something, but they ain't willing to die.
They used to have that here.
That's what I'm saying.
From a duels.
If
like
two
a duel
got into a disagreement, you take that glove off and slap that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look, hey, Lincoln almost lost his life behind that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I think we need to have some form of that coming back. If you got everybody, especially the men, going through military school and being trained in tactical arms and knowing how to fight. Look, nigga, if you believe a certain type of way and you believe it's right, and you niggas can't agree, put them in the ring.
Well, if you had a military style school system in a country, that of course would be a part of it. But for our society right now, it would never work because the men have been socialized to be non-confrontational.
That's what that's what. But what I'm saying is because you socialize them that way, is to, if they don't, they're gonna go to the extreme, right? It's just like a male that's feminine, but he got raw power. Like the fact that listen, man, the fact that me and Angry Man get into a debate, like Angry Man says a lot. You niggas wouldn't say this shit to my face.
Yeah.
Because eventually you know what it's gonna get to.
There's rules. There's rules codes that you apply just so you actually get along.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think that's what we're missing in society, which is, I was talking to a friend of mine about this. I asked her about domestic violence. And so she's like, I don't think domestic violence is right. She says, do you think it's right? I said, I don't have a moral argument for it if it is or not. If you hit me and I choose to stay around and let you do it some more, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I says, but the difference is that there's no fear amongst men and women. There's no fear amongst men anymore. Niggas will literally walk around and just say some shit to another man that back in 100 years ago, damn sure 300 years ago, would have got you killed and maybe your whole family killed.
Yeah.
Oh, nigga, you can suck my dick. Like, nigga, that would get you killed.
Oh yeah.
You follow me? Like, coming in spouting or your reputation, putting up misrepresenting something or misrepresenting someone. Man, people would have killed another man for their reputation because that's all you had back then. To me, we done got too soft, man. But I don't know if humans are supposed to be this way, because of technology, or we meant to be in rough environments, so we act right.
Well, basically, the environment says that you don't need a nigga like Angry Man on every corner anymore. Okay.
No.
So basically, you adapt to your environment. If there's no call for it, then there's going to be less and less and less and less because, as much as I love Angry Man, you don't need a million niggas like Angry Man actually running around.
Hell no.
On every corner.
Hell no. All them niggas will be competing to push the button. Fuck them niggas.
Go ahead, Diz. We got about 2 more minutes.
Okay. Well, look, in the military, yes, we did have a way of settling that, and that was a sand pit and bugle sticks.
Okay.
If you had a disagreement with another motherfucker, the sergeant would put you in a sand pit with some bugle sticks in your gear, and y'all would fight it out until you were out of breath. And that was it. And, that's the way we went ahead. I don't know how it is done now, but back in the day when I was in the early 90s, you were going to fight. That was it.
You put the gloves on and shoot a fair one, huh?
Yeah, that was it. I mean, because this idea that you got a bunch of men who you want to fight are not going to have disagreements and then fight each other was just ridiculous to the military mindset. So, no. Come on, man. Get your ass out there in that sand pit. I don't care how big or small you are. Don't say it's not fair. No, because your enemy going to have more than you. You're not in a fair fight. So fight for your life. That was it. And so exercising that type of thing with young men, because I'm putting my son in boxing as soon as he's old enough. Because the thing that fighting teaches you is not just how to take a punch, it's the psychology behind it. And I think that's what a lot of young men are missing these days.
If you get punched in the face enough and it hurts, you're not gonna rush into a fight.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you actually fight less when you learn. Like when my father put me in Taekwondo, I actually got into less fights
Yep.
because of it. So you actually fight less because you know the damage. You not only know the damage you can do, but you know the damage that somebody else can do. Because the fight, you can literally lose your life in a fight.
Yeah, I was watching a podcast, and it had been this past month in March or something. They had Joe Rogan had a special forces guy on there, and they were talking about how they shoot.
Jocko Willink, probably.
Yeah, I think this may have been him. And they were talking about how they force their those special forces dudes to think. He said because if you and so they make a decision, and they have to so they make in a short time, and then once they make that decision, they have to explain why they made that decision, right? And I think I might be explaining it a little bit different, but basically what he was saying was your action has to be so quick, but that decision that you make might cost you your life. Meaning you have to think your way through this process, and if your brain is not constantly in thinking mode, you're dead.
You basically have to practice so much it's a reflex because you can't
Exactly.
think.
Yeah, and that's what and that was the point. He was talking about
Yeah,
shooting.
yeah,
He said you
yeah.
have to just practice so there's a reflex.
Yeah. Same thing in sports. Basically, you can't think. It has to be a reflex.
Yeah.
That's why you practice. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't believe you at first. I went back and checked what you said about Kawhi Leonard and how he's gotten better. That nigga just drastically gotten better from college days. Like I don't know what the fuck he did or who he got with, but I mean you could tell his game is not even the same player. And he was still good in college, but it doesn't look like the same player.
Basically, it's basically work ethic and concentration, psychology. Those two things will actually make you better because that's how. If you look at the great players, that's how they build themselves. Kobe, Michael, because Michael didn't even make his team when he was like in high school. He worked his way up. That's where he got his work ethic from because he didn't make it. So he had to work his way on the team and then into college and then into the pros. He just kept his work ethic.
What you mean? Michael Jordan didn't get no participation trophy?
Yeah. Michael Jordan said, "Fuck a participation trophy." Shit.
No, that's right.
Let me step on your neck.
But we think about these lessons, and you think about like these things where it becomes reflex. There are cultural reflexes as well, and these are the things that I think that we need to apply. On the other hand, would like an angry man on every corner because he's gonna be checking niggas. He's gonna be checking bitches. He'll be like, "You out of line. You out of line. You out of line."
But the thing is,
Yeah.
if you have angry man on every corner, then they will be fighting for dominance.
Yeah, there'd be too many fights, too many disagreements and shit.
Angry man to be like that nigga. He'd be like Thanos without a problem. He'd be like, "Something's not right."
I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't want no nigga like me on every corner. I wouldn't want to see that nigga like not off of no fear, but just off of the fact that nigga would get on my nerves.
Yeah. In other words, in a different time and place, then you would need angry man on every corner. But the thing is, this is not that time. I'm not, human beings.
Yeah, you just need a system and a culture that people are programmed by to just follow the ghost of an angry man on the corner.
All cultures program their people. There is no culture that doesn't program their people.
No. What I'm saying, I agree with that. What I'm saying, if we could institute what Angry Man was saying, like if he was in control and he had a military style hierarchy, it would be put into you that he's on every corner, that everything is always like most dudes who are in the military, most like when the ones that go into it and really accept it. Them niggas ain't finna just do some dumb shit. Not especially if they don't work their ass off and move up the rank.
Because okay, number one in this military in the American military, number one, you're socialized from school. From the time you get hit in kindergarten, you socialize. By the time you get to basic, 90% of the work is already done for you.
Yeah.
When you get to basic training, they're just extending what you already learned in school.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't learn it will get washed out.
And pop culture has a lot to do with it.
If you had a military school where you got the kids, you getting them early and indoctrinating them early, like before 7 years old, by the time they get to, teens, like you might have disagreements, but you'll have a disciplined regimen group of men. So you wouldn't have to really worry about it wouldn't have to be one of them on every corner because the institution is what would keep them in check. Like,
yeah, well, you're already programmed to
Gotcha.
obey authority because
yeah,
you know that ain't gonna make because yes, you rebelled against it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you know the programming in school because you see it because you actually bucked against it where most kids didn't. But
Yeah.
thing is that they
Angry
don't.
man to be walking around with that angry man to be walking around like Thanos in Endgame. I see what I must do now.
Nah, he wanted out. He wanted out.
Wanted out.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying, but
He's
even
more.
even
He's
after he
more like.
snapped his
He's more like the dude on Guardians of the Galaxy, right? The what's his name? That rebelled against everything and played all the 60s and 70s music.
Oh,
Oh,
you
you
mean
talking about
Star Lord?
Star
Yeah,
Lord?
Star Lord.
Yeah.
Star Lord. Star Lord is Angry Man.
Yeah, but like there was a lot of us in Gen X that started and it usually I remember a lot of us started rebelling against, authority in school like fourth grade.
Yeah, they said because they changed the system. Because if you go back into like 1910, well, from 1900 to like 1912, a lot of boys were actually rebelling against the system, dropping out and hanging out on the corner. And they had to actually change the whole system to keep more boys in. When you guys started rebelling, is because they started changing the system to a feminist system.
Yeah,
which causes boys to rebel. Go ahead, Didset. A perfect blackness. What do you want to say? You got to jump back on.
before y'all go.
No.
Before y'all go, appreciate y'all having me on, man. I'm
All
gonna
right.
head out.
Yeah, we
Thanks,
got
guys.
about maybe I was gonna say about 10 more minutes. We go 10 more minutes.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that, guys. Hey, and Angry Man,
What
take
up?
2 steps away from that butt, nigga.
Nah, don't let that nigga in the room. Shit, 2 steps. If he's 2 steps, you might it's as good as pushed.
All right, fellas.
All right.
I'll be standing here looking you in the eye. You know, how you look somebody in the eye, then you look down at the button, look back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dive over there.
And all of a sudden we hear this click. What'd you do? What'd you do, nigga? I couldn't help it.
I just wanted to see what it was gonna do.
Let's see what it's gonna do. Yeah, okay.
Hey, what's up, Art? In the grand scheme of things, though, when it comes to boys, there's going to be competition. I mean, because we're going to challenge the elder. It's going to happen. And in fact, that's the natural way of doing things. So we're not going to bring out our best and brightest without that tension between that generation, because we're going to constantly try to knock the top man off the hill and try to become the man on top. And I think that's healthy. I don't think this idea, this kumbaya shit where everything's just so fluffy, like we're trying to get to with the women, that just doesn't sit with me.
But there has to be an order to it. You just can't challenge people without any order. There has to be order to it.
Yeah, I agree with the order part. I think that part's implied in my military history. But
and basically, what needs to be done is the people on top have to challenge the younger people to actually get better. Challenging is good, but it has to be a ordered system to actually do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the thing is, you have to be challenged. But the thing is, you have to be correct. It's not challenge just for challenge sake. Doesn't mean anything. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to earn that challenge.
You got to earn that challenge.
Yeah.
A lot of what's happening now is people don't want to. People basically, when I get into this shit, basically what pisses me off, you know what the fucking right answer is. Stop pretending like you don't.
Yep, it's true.
Come on, man. but it can't mean this, but it can't mean that. Come on, man.
Yeah, that shit pisses me off too.
Come on, man. If I have to break it down that far, then that's when I start to get pissed off. If I have to break it down to like the little ABCs, like I'm talking to my 7-year-old grandson, then that's when I get pissed off. Come on, man, because I know you know. And basically, the thing is, instead of saying, okay, accepting what you already know and going forward, you want to stand there and hold that ground, and you can't, especially against me, because I'm gonna just keep breaking it down to the point you just give up. That's what people used to get mad. You're a bully. No, I'm not a bully. Basically, you're a hardhead. As far as adults are concerned, I don't, that's why a lot of times I stopped doing. I was glad I actually stopped doing the Coliseum. I got tired of that, man. Come on.
I know you got tired of it.
It's nothing against perfect blackness. When I said, what is it? I actually got broken down. What does absolute mean? You know what absolute meant. But you're trying to find an angle. Maybe if I just crease it this way or lean that
It
way,
mean feminine shit.
there
That's what that
there
is.
might be an angle that I can actually get out of this with my, and still not be wrong. I said, come on, man.
That's the problem. That is such a feminine trait, and I just don't like it when guys do that.
Sometimes you just gotta concede the point, man.
Yes.
or basically no. I mean, basically, I would rather people use terms that they know, that they're solid in, and then just loosely just throw stuff around. Especially, I'm gonna challenge the shit.
Yeah.
Why you come on and throw it around? I'm gonna ask you where you got it from. I'm gonna do that. And then you're gonna call me a bully and BGS don't let people talk and well, I don't know. I felt like he was picking on me and come on, man.
Take the L and learn. That's right, Mr. Miracle. I will take the L because I'm gonna learn from it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you're here because you want to get into an intellectual argument, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to use intellect to do it. That doesn't make sense to me. Why are you here?
Because we're socialized by the gynocracy.
I want to win. Give me a win. I want to be heard. Give me my participation trophy, BGS.
The greatest lessons come from losing, though. That's the thing.
I want a participation trophy. Can you, can you accept my alternative facts on a word? Okay. Because I always ask people, what is your definition of the term that you're trying to define? Where's your argument? Stop trying to dance around and not define it. Define it. You have an idea, you have an argument, define it for me. And then we can actually go take what your defined argument that you accept, even though I might not agree with it, we're going to take your argument and your definition, and then we're actually going to break it down according to your argument, not mine. Because if I ask you to use mine, it's going to be a fight. So let's find out what you think it is or what you believe it is, and then we go from there. And people do it, and then the argument starts breaking down, and then you want to start moving the goalposts. It's like, man, get out of here. That's just, I'm not picking on him, but say this is just, it just sometimes it just irritates me.
Yeah, that's the normal course of most arguments or most debates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
sadly
really annoying too.
Mm-hmm. But that's
perfect. I done said my piece.
He got back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just I didn't want to interrupt anyone.
We called your name.
No, but you guys are going. So I just wanted to make sure everybody got their word out and without me interrupting. But as I said before on another panel, that I respect you, BGS, and I actually see you as an elder. Angry Man, I respect Angry Man, and I never thought that I would always agree, or that anyone would always agree with me. So that's all good. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of being the lone wolf in the room. As I was told by one of my esteemed mentors, that you're never going to be always right, and even when you feel that you're right, not everybody's going to agree with you. And this is one of those times. And
Which one?
Not everyone.
Which time is it? Because you have two different times. Which time is it?
Well, this is something that I think you would respect in that, be just that I really don't know.
Okay.
And I haven't lived as long as you, so time will tell. Now, does that take me off my square? Not really.
Okay.
But can I be moved off my square? Probably with time and all of that. But that doesn't mean that I'm that I'm a prude or anything like that. Now, anyone that knows me, now this is where I would give some pushback from
Mm-hmm.
the most, is that anyone that knows me knows that I'm not a person that has responded to the feminism. It was one thing that I have always preached against.
Mm-hmm.
And even in my personal life, even in the community, that I have a large community footprint,
Mm-hmm.
I am very much against the gynocracy and feminism.
But
So,
it doesn't matter whether you are basically you're basically brainwashed by it. Now you can be less subjugated to it, but it's in all of us. We can't help it.
Yeah,
All of us.
that bullshit is in me too.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
all of us.
I
Yeah.
had to live it down.
Be fighting that shit every
Every
day.
day. Yeah, and it also creeps up on you. Say, damn, after you do it for so long, you get used to it. Then one day you say, damn, why do I do that?
It just happened to me at work just last week.
Mm-hmm.
The girl came and she's like, "Look, I need to get these boxes out of this office because we need more printer paper." And I looked at it. I said no, and that was a reflex. And she looked at me. She said no. I said no. You go and do it yourself. And I actually felt guilty afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. That's your socialization. Either you accept it or you reject it. But the thing is, it's still going to be there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there. So feminists, we actually, if you unless you're like 70 years old, you're raised to be feminists. You're actually socialized to be feminist because that's the society that you came up in. Will you be more or less? You don't have to be a staunch, hardcore feminist, but the thing is, that's your training. So you're gonna actually that stuff is actually gonna creep up in your arguments, the way you argue, and sometimes the way you talk, and sometimes the way you actually respond. As you raise feminist. So it's going to be there. Say that I'm not a feminist. It doesn't matter whether you're a feminist or not. It's part of your training.
It's just like speaking English.
That's speaking English. Can't help it.
That gynocentric bullshit.
And yeah, the gynocracy was passed down from 15 generations. It's in you. Okay. I don't care whether you came from a single mother home or two-parent home. It's in you. If you the typical black family. Now, Angry Man was actually come from a different upbringing. Was his grandparents and his parents actually came from a different upbringing, so they didn't have it like we have it.
Yeah, like I had a little less, but I still had to deal with, it coming from other sources like school and television and shit like that. Because
your friends and
yeah.
Yeah,
because I got friends that I've seen their mothers do stuff to them, and we didn't got to fight. I said to them about.
Yeah.
I even heard the interview that Dr. Johnson was talking about with T.K. Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I actually looked at that interview, and he did it right there in the middle of it. He was like, "We need to reassess how we deal with women and this and that." And I was like, "Oh shit, this dude just."
Yeah, we hear it all the time. You can't talk to that about that. Oh man, you can't blame the sisters, man. It ain't their sisters' fault. And so we as black men got to take responsibility for the sisters, man, because if we're better men than the sisters with that. I said, it's a concept, but that's your socialization. And people do when I actually said when I said actually research and stuff. So basically, I said go look it up and go read about it. That means you're wrong. I know you're wrong because I just read it. I just studied this stuff, and I know you're wrong. Like 1+1 does not equal 3. You're wrong. I was telling my grandson that because he was adding up, and one of those figures was like a 3 and supposed to be a 2. And I broke it down to him. He said, "No, it's 13." I said, "No, it isn't." I said, "What's 9 plus 3?" Okay. What's 9 plus 3? Do it again. But you're wrong. No, do it again.
But it helps us to realize the scale of the challenge that we have, especially for those of us raising young boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the literature. I have a woman who's semi on board. I'll take what I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, is do the best you can with what you got
Mm-hmm.
because gynocracy is going to be trying to shape him. It's already
Mm-hmm.
started.
It's already started. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's already started. But he's got a good father that knows how to kind of tamp that down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of it's not bad. All of it's not bad. But the thing is, we got to. I don't mind about gynocracy if it works for the boys. The thing is, it's not working for the boys, so we have to do something as you adjust. You can't get rid of it if you're gonna have a black woman.
Well, I don't disagree with any of that.
Mhm.
The gynocracy is, and look, and I've said several times
Mhm.
that I am not a man who I would never date another Black American woman or American woman as long as I live.
Mhm.
Okay?
Understandable.
I hear that shit.
No. I've said this, and I don't. And I'm here in Chicago. I mentor Black boys
Mhm.
all the time.
Mhm.
That is one of my biggest footprints. I coach them
Mhm.
in football, and I mentor and I tutor them.
Mhm.
So shaping minds of Black boys is a big deal of mine.
Mhm.
Very big deal of mine.
Mhm.
And I see this guy. I see the gynocracy. I see the feminist
Mhm.
element within their life.
Mhm.
I see it all the time.
Mhm.
So that's why I say I respect you,
Yeah,
but
'cause
I
the thing,
don't want to
but, but,
be.
but the thing is, if you're raised in this country, if you're raised, were you raised by black parents?
Was I raised by Black parents? I was raised in foster care. So I
Okay.
was raised. I
We
was
were, we
raised
were raised by
in
white people.
Australia. All
Were you raised by white people?
well, I would no.
And
I
then
was
it's
I was in some group homes with white folks, but not by white
you,
people.
so basically,
In particular.
if you're raised by black people, it's embedded in you because the whole culture is part of gynocracy, not just
I
black.
don't deny that.
Yeah.
I would never deny that.
So
You
basically,
that you would never deny. I would never deny that.
so if you know anything about socialization, the first 7 years are very important because even Fitka said when he's actually designing the school system, you give me the boy at 7, I give you the man. You socialize into this stuff, so you can fight against it the best you can, but you have to start recognizing those traits in you, which is hard.
Well, I fought against it much to my own peril, but I have.
Yeah, well, it's still gonna be in you.
I
It-
think it's in you
That
by
I
the way
don't
you
deny.
argue perfect blackness, to be
oh
honest.
yeah, everybody saw it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I okay. Well, I don't think I will give you this. Maybe I didn't articulate my points as much, but I also still believe that maybe I wasn't understood as well.
We
But
understood you, bro.
okay,
We understood you.
okay, all right, all right,
We
all right.
understood you, bro.
Again,
Why do you
I
think I was
don't
able?
run. I don't run from being disagreed with, and I don't run from being wrong.
I understand. Why do you think I was able to actually break down your argument so well? Because I did understand you. I was trying to get you to understand what you were talking about, which you didn't. You didn't. Because we're trying to get you to understand that in this particular space, especially, you need to define your argument. And when you finally actually broke it down to you actually saw what we were talking about. At finally, that's when you stopped. Because okay, I get it now.
No, I was actually I had a computer issue. I had to reboot my computer a
No,
couple
no,
times. That
no.
was
You
the
actually
reason
no,
I
you actually got quiet. Because
No, well, okay.
when
No,
I
I
actually
didn't actually be
when I actually
quiet.
when I asked you to actually define absolute, that's when you started to get quiet.
Okay,
Because
I
then you
got
didn't
quiet
understand.
because my
No, there you go again. Okay, all right.
Yeah. You're doing it now, bro.
Yeah, doing it
You're doing
now.
it
Yeah,
now.
doing it now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you don't even realize it.
you don't even realize it. That's the problem. Anyway, uh, Valdez, you got a closing thought? Are you done? Okay,
He's
dead
muted.
set. Yeah, he's doing something else. Dead set.
Okay. I'm gonna play Warframe. Y'all have fun.
All right, folks. If that's all we got, I'm gonna take my black ass to bed. I think I've done like 24 hours worth of panels in the last weekend from Friday to now. That's it. So my black ass. I didn't plan on doing it this long, but I enjoy you guys. The thing is that perfect, but actually listen back to yourself, okay, and then start comparing it to how feminists and women argue. Yes, you start to see a lot of parallels. That's how we learn. That's how I learn. Anyway, y'all. You can actually start hearing it. That's why I train people to actually hear it. You'll actually start hearing it in yourself and in other people if you've been around it. Once you start listening to it, and as people start pointing it out. But anyway.
All right. Good night, good morning, and everything in between.
All right. And to all I would say Merry Christmas, and to all a good night, but it's not Christmas. Anyway, y'all. Peace out, man.
All right.
All right.